Hi, y'all. Good morning. It is almost sunrise. It's going to be coming up over the tree line over there soon. And me and you, we got to get after it quick because it is going to be an absolute scorcher of a day. We're going to be off the water early this morning. But before that happens, we're going to try to catch us some fish. We're going to suspend baits off of this flat, and I'll kind of show you how we're setting up here on the graph and everything once we get going. But we're going after catfish today. Blues, flatheads, probably a pesky channel cat or two. You never can count them out. But we're going to try to catch some fish, have us some fun, and get off the water early and get back to the air condition before it gets just too miserable to stand. But if you notice too, folks, I'm also in a brand new kayak today. This is the Old Town Sportsman 120 Pro. I'm going to talk about it, go over how I've got everything set up here, and we're going to try to put some fish in this thing today, by gosh. But no time to waste, y'all. Let's get to it. I've got us a shad laid out in the floor here. I'm going to just take a head and a chunk here to start. I do have, well, shad is the only fish that I have with us for bait today. But I do have a pack of chicken in the cooler as well. We can rotate in and out throughout the morning. But I want to start right here at first light. I want to start with the shad, the tried and true, proven bait. Chicken's a good bait this time of year for numbers of fish. I think it represents mussels, like mussel meat. And they're eating a lot of mussels right now. You'll catch catfish right now this time of year, and they'll just be, you'll feel it in their bellies, like all the shells. They'll just be packed full of those mussel shells. And so I think chicken does kind of have its place in the summer months, especially, just numbers of fish, if nothing else. But you know me, I've got a lot of confidence in using actual fish for bait. Fresh fish that's native to the waters that I'm fishing. That's what I want to be using whenever possible. So we got a head on that other rod. We got a chunk over here. This setup's, we're using light tackle stuff today. So any takedowns we get are going to be huge. But this is a small number one size hook. Hopefully the light is good enough for you to see. But just a little number one sized shiner hook, 15-pound fluoro. That goes up to a swivel, a little 2-ounce egg sinker, 15-pound braid. I've got the old ugly stick inshore rods here for the rods, and the Daiwa BG4000 size reel. And I'm just lowering that down to the bottom. Right now we're 21 feet deep. So once I raise these up, they're going to be 18, 19 feet deep, and we'll set them there in the rod holder. And what we're going to do is we're going to move. I'm going to get us on the move here in a second. And me and you, we're going to take off and just work up this flat. So how the river runs here, I'll kind of give you the lay of the land just as you see it, and then I'll show you here on the graph what it looks like as far as the contours goes. So over here on the shoreline, like that over there, you see those trees. That's an island. And and there's a few islands up through here. And off those islands, there's a little bit of a drop. And it comes out to this flat that we're currently setting on, which is, it varies in depth, but low 20s. 20 to 23, 24 feet deep out here on this flat. And you get out here where we're currently setting, it drops off again behind us, which is in the old river channel. So you go from about 21 feet here where we're setting at the moment down to 50 to 60 feet depending on where you're at on this ledge. And so what we're going to do today, we're going to take this flat and we're going to go up on the top edge of it right before it goes off into the old original river channel. I'm out here on the Tennessee River today, which is just a series of impoundments. This used to be a naturally flowing river back in the day. TVA come through, built a bunch of hydroelectric dams, which created reservoirs. And so now it still flows like a river when they generate and actually move water, but the rest of the time it's just like lake conditions. And out here this morning, we're going to be dealing with lake conditions. They're not moving any water at all at the dams today. So the only movement we have is either by the motor, which we're going to use, or the wind, which is going to be minimal out here this morning. So anyway, we're going to take a big stretch of this, work up along the top edge of this flat, and just cover some water and try to run into some fish. So here's how this looks on the contour map. So over here in this blue area, that is the river channel behind us. you can see where the contours are real tight together. That's signifying, a change. In this case, if you're working back toward the camera here, this is the incline coming up, and then over here the contours, they widen out, signifying that flat. So we just want to work on the edge, right on the edge of the contours, and we're just going to follow that line all the way down through here. So what I'm going to do is, we got these fancy gadgets here on this kayak. Me, if you've been following my channel for a while, you've seen the progression. I went from a real simple setup to a very complicated, all the bells and whistles gadget setup. And for the last couple of years, I've been, we got a fish. We got a fish on right here, y'all. Paul's just, oh no, he just come off. Did he break us off? Nope. He didn't break us off, but he robbed us. He done stole our bait over there, folks. Call the law. I want you to call the law right now. I don't know if the police department's open at this hour, but if they are, I want one of you to file a report for me, because we just got stole from us here in front of God and everybody. We got him on camera stealing. He got busted in the act over here shoplifting like that. I can't stand a thief, and you all know it. It's a good sign though. We're already getting bit though. That was on the body section, so we'll put another one on. But I've gone through, man, I've gone through the progression on kayaks from very simple, minimal setup to very complicated, every bell and whistle you can imagine putting on. And lately, the last couple of years, I've been getting back to a more simple setup again. But Old Town reached out. They wanted me to be a part of this kayak launch here. They've hooked me up with this kayak motor, this Humminbird Explorer 9 Graph, and with this setup all being from Johnson Outdoors, which is the parent company of all three of those companies I mentioned. He's back on it. Let's get him this time, by God. Oh no, he come off again. Did he steal our bait again? We done been robbed twice. 2 times, folks. 2 times in less than 5 minutes we've been robbed. Let's stick that other head bait we just left in the floor here. I dare that fish to try it a 3rd time. I dare him. I triple dog dare him. Dadgummit. I'm going to find me a better fishing partner if you don't start landing these fish that we're getting to bite. I've put you in a place to succeed right here, and you keep missing fish. But if that dang thieving fish right there, if he'll quit interrupting us, I'll tell you how this works. So, with Johnson Outdoors being the parent company of Minn Kota Motors, Old Town Kayaks, and Humminbird Electronics, everything fits together. Everything works together. So you can easily mount, for instance, the Humminbird transducer. The Old Town kayaks are made for the Humminbird. Now, you can put any brand transducer on there, but it's made for the Humminbird model specifically. The Minn Kota motors will link to the Humminbird graph as long as you've got compatible models, but you can run a cord, which I haven't done yet, and I'm going to at some point here, run a cord from the motor, which is the Minn Kota Tarova Kayak Edition, to your graph, and you can operate your motor from the screen. So in theory, I'm thinking we're going to be able to mark a bunch of waypoints and have that thing drive along them waypoints for us, doing everything by the graph, setting the speed, all that crap on there. So that's a task for another day. Today, we're just getting out here and trying this thing out. But having all of these companies working together, it makes a possibility for us to pretty much just kick back and relax. Once you get your bait set, your course plotted, and all that, just let the kayak do the job for you, and you just sit back and reel in fish. So it's kind of a fancy setup here, if you the exact opposite of what I've been using on recent videos leading up to this, right? Because I've just been in that Hobie Lynx with just the paddleboard style, a couple rod holders, and a basic graph, and we catch a bunch of fish doing that. So it comes down to your personal wants and needs. Do you want all the bells and whistles, or do you want a simple setup? There's no right or wrong. It just comes down to your personal preference. What's important to you? Most of my friends, I'll tell you, they want a kayak like this. All the guys I fish in the tournaments against, you don't see anybody showing up in a simple basic rig. Everybody's decked to the max, man. Motors, fancy graphs, a live scope, all that, man. I mean, this is where the industry has gone to. I personally would like to see some companies come out with some lighter weight kayaks that are more friendly on the back, easier to transport. With this setup here, it requires a trailer. Once you got the motor, batteries, graph, battery for it, weight of the kayak, if I ain't got a boat ramp, I ain't using this thing. Just be real with you. This ain't something I'm going to drop in on the side of the river somewhere where I've got to drag it a few hundred yards to get down there. That ain't happening. But places like we're at today, where you've got boat ramp, easy access and stuff, easy peasy out here. So anyway, we're going to do some fishing out here this morning until it gets blistering hot. We will hopefully reel in several fish. If you're seeing this, good news, we caught some fish. And we're going to kind of go over this stuff a little bit more in detail, and we're going to learn some of it together too, because right now I've got us on spot lock while we were getting set up, but I'm about to get us on the move here. So let me see if I can film the remote here. So we're going to do this two ways. We've got our remote that operates the motor, and the remote is pretty basic. The buttons here, I'll show you what they mean. So this rabbit button, when you first turn the prop off, if you want to get going top speed very quickly, push that rabbit button. This button over here, the direction arrow on it, that is your course heading. You get going a certain direction, you want to keep going that way, push that button, and the motor will drive that direction for you. The button with the anchor, obviously spot lock. Your plus and minus controls your speed. The prop button turns your prop on and off, and these directional arrows side to side is how you steer it. Now, if you want another feature that we're about to be using, which is cruise control, you're going to have to operate that through the app or get the upgraded remote, either way. But because of, let me pull it up here on my phone, because Johnson Outdoors has Humminbird and Minn Kota, they've created an app called the One Boat Network. It's a free app, and you can connect your devices to this app and control them through here. So like, for instance, we're going to click on motor, click the I agree. Motor's not found. I may have to go into my phone settings here and turn on Bluetooth or Parrot. If y'all had a better fishing partner, I would have already been on top of this morning and read the instruction manual instead of getting out here and winging it. But we're going to figure out this stuff together here, folks. Before I do that, let me do one thing though. Hey, this is important. I do this every time we're on the water at this hour. I want to show you that sunrise over there. It's peeking up over the horizon as we speak. Soak that in a second, folks. Some of you done slept through it today. That's a beautiful sight, man. Now, in 20 minutes, when it's fully up over them trees and melting our flesh off because it's so dang hot out here, we've been going through a terrible heat wave here, East Tennessee. I mean, it's been 95 plus, high humidity. The feels like temperature's been in the low 100s, like 105, 106 last few days. The feels like at night, man, I walk outside to pee before I go to bed at night, and damn near need to take a shower before I get into bed because you just dripping sweat. But it's still it may melt our flesh off, but it's a beautiful sight when that sun comes up, man. Beautiful sight. I love me some sunrises from the water. Let's get to this crap though. We got to figure out this phone situation. Let me bear with me a second here. Let me go into my phone settings. Bluetooth. Minn Kota. Okay. I had to go into my phone settings here and connect it Bluetooth that way. Now, there we go. Now we have everything on here. So now you can see we've got all those buttons I mentioned on the remote, but you've also got this cruise right here. And that's what we're going to use today. So let me come off spot lock, get us on the move. I'm going to turn us here to go up this this ledge right on the top of it. And we'll probably have to adjust it today because of it ain't going to be just a straight line up here. The river kind of has a slight bend right through here. So I'm going to get us turned. We'll put on the course heading. And then we're going to see about this speed. Y'all bear with me here as we do this. So let's push that on. So we've got our autopilot, if you will. That's what the locked course there. So now let's hit the cruise. And I don't know, when we adjust our speed with the cruise control, will it go in mile per hour increments or just prop speed increments? I don't know. We're going to find out, but we're going to try to lower it here to where our speed is going to be somewhere between 0.3 to 0.5. That's kind of what I want it to be. We're falling off this ledge right down here too. We're going to have to, here, let me come off that. Let me get us over here and get us reset. Once I link everything up with that cable running from the motor to the graph, I think we're going to be able to just plot some waypoints and be able to just let it follow that course we've set. But that's a task for another day. Today we're just getting out here and putting this thing through the paces. I've had one bait run in it, as you can see from the mud all over the floor. I threw the cast net and got some shad in it 2 days ago. So the shad we're using today is 2 days old. I come out yesterday morning to try to fish, get our first catfishing trip in this, and I botched the trip, y'all. The first fish I caught was gut hooked. Had to cut the hook. Well, I go to get in my bag, get another leader out. Guess what I don't have? I don't have any more leaders with me. I was out. So trip was over before it started. I mean, just one of them things, just bad luck, man. Bad luck, poor planning on your part. It couldn't have been my fault. Now, I've never, you know me, I've never made a mistake in my life. So it had to be y'all's fault we didn't have that dang bag of leaders pre-tied and ready to go. All right, so I've hit the autopilot again. We can adjust our speed here on the phone or the remote. You can operate either one once everything's locked in. And then we'll make some adjusting is me. I can't get my words out this morning. We will make some adjustments to the route as we go up through here, because we don't want to. In fact, I'm going to do it right now, or else we're going to venture back off that ledge. I just want us to be on the top right before it drops off, so that any fish coming out of the main river channel here, they come up onto this flat to feed. Here we are. And so right now we're moving 0.7, 0.8. Let's drop our speed down another notch. Again, I don't know. That's one of them things, if I'd read the owner's manual, I'd probably figure out when we adjust the speed, is it going to go in mile per hour increments or prop speed? I don't know. Doesn't really matter. As long as we get our speed down to where it's like 0.3 to 0.5-ish, I'm going to be content with that. And once we get that dialed in, I'm probably going to reel up this other bait over here. We may go ahead and try a piece of chicken. I don't know. Just to go ahead and see what it'll do for us. Okay. Now we're 0.4, 0.5. It may, every time it may go us down to like 0.1 mile an hour increments. My other kayak that has the the motor guide motor, it does that. You set your cruise control and it moves you at 1 mile an hour, and then you go in 0.1 mile an hour increments every time you hit the button up or down. So it may be that way with this one too. I'll just have to read the manual at some point, but not today, by gosh. We ain't doing no book reading today. We're doing some fish catching today if we can find one that'll let us catch it versus stealing the bait. I'm gonna put another shad on here first. Put a body section on. That other body section got hit and stole twice. These head baits ain't really getting messed with, so. Yeah, good news, folks. If you're seeing this, spoiler alert, we've got some fish today. Me and you, we've stumbled into some, and this kind of fishing, man, it's kind of a high percentage play, if you will. There's always fish up on these flats feeding. Sometimes there'll be more than others, certainly, depending on time of day and season and whatnot. They'll move up more often, but like if you just want to go out and catch fish, flats are a good place to at least start your day. And so right now, let me show you this right fast though. So you can see we're kind of perpendicular to the shoreline over there, and the motor's at a slight angle driving us. Well, why is that happening? The wind is coming at us from an angle, and we're moving so slow that the kayak is kind of spinning around a little bit down through here as we make our way along. So does that matter? No, because we're suspending baits. You know, if we were dragging, I would bump our speed up enough to compensate for the wind, or we could throw a drift sock off the back and keep the back end aligned so that our dragging lines don't end up under us. Because if we were dragging with these two lines, this line would be way out here and this one would be coming up under us this way. But because we're suspend fishing, it doesn't matter. Like, it don't matter in the least. So we're just gonna let it continue to drive for us. We're falling off this ledge again, so I am gonna get us back over here on top. Don't get me wrong, we could catch fish over this drop too. It's just going to be harder to control our depth because we would constantly be gaining or lowering ourselves and getting shallower or deeper, I should say, on that ledge. Whereas if we keep it either on the top or the very bottom edge of the ledge, which I like doing that in the summertime too. That's usually what I'm doing, is the bottom edge. But if you do that, you can get a more steady depth changes and be able to kind of keep your baits where they need to be. I want them just off the bottom, within about 3 feet of the bottom. Yeah, we're climbing back up on there now. We'll just have to tinker with it as we go along. And one of them got hit. Was it this one? Something's after that body section. Don't you dare lose this fish like you have lost the others. Don't you dare lose this one too. On the body section. Well, them head baits they ain't interested in the head bait. Oh, this is a tiny thing. I wish this one wasn't interested at all. This is probably the size of fish that stole from us over there a little while ago. Just a little old eater size right here, except we ain't eating them. You don't want to eat nothing out of where we're fishing at today. All this is a contaminated section of the river, big time. This is downstream from the old coal ash spill. Look that up. Y'all want something to educate yourselves on. Kingston coal ash spill. That was one of the worst, I think it was the worst ecological disaster in United States history. So personally, I wouldn't eat nothing out of here. There is advisories up every boat ramp saying don't eat nothing out of here. So to each their own. I know people who do. Your life, your body, your choice. This fish right here, he made a choice, and he made a bad one. Eat a bait with a hook in it. But ain't that something though, man? Our shad body sections have now been eaten, 3 times, because the other 2 got stolen. But our head baits ain't getting touched. Yeah, let me get, do I have any, let's see if I had any, I can't remember if I got any real big ones or not. Shad, man, it was, when I went out there a couple days ago, it was a little bit of a chore to catch them. We don't have a whole bunch of them today, but I do have that pack of chicken we will supplement. I'm sure we'll catch some stuff with it. I should probably go ahead and put a piece of chicken on. You know what? Let's do that. We know they're wanting this today. The body section. We'll reel up our other bait, and on the other side, we probably need to change it out anyway, because it's been, how long have we been doing this? 20-something minutes, so this water's hot. It's like I said, we've been baking in the sun here in East Tennessee all week, and man, I'll tell you what, it's heated everything up. Let's just cut a piece of chicken there. Again, this chicken, and certainly be careful, folks. If you fishing with raw chicken, don't be putting your hands in your mouth and stuff, which I don't know if you catfishing. I don't know why the hell you'd want to have your hands in your mouth anyway with the bait and all that mess that we're handling, but you can see that shad right there, man. It's already bled out in just a few minutes. But handling raw chicken, certainly be careful. You don't want to get the salmonella. Definitely if you're fishing with kids or something, be mindful of that. As far as them handling the raw meat and then eating snacks, or depending on age of your kid, you know, maybe just putting their hands in their mouth anyway. All right, we got everything set up. We got a piece of chicken on one, a piece of shad on the other. I kind of hate taking that head bait off, because any of y'all that fish with me regularly, you know I love me a head bait. Like it's the premium bait for trophy size fish. But when we've had 3 bites on the body section and nothing on the head, there's something to that, folks. I don't know what makes fish be more inclined to bite one bait versus another, but you see that sometimes. You see patterns and preferences, and I don't fight the trends. When they let me know what they want, I'm going to try to feed them what they want. And since we're only fishing 2 rods today, we're kind of limited on the options that we can put out at any given time. So we're just we'll try this setup here for a little while. We'll see how the chicken does. But yeah, you also, and by the way, I'm just going to leave this camera rolling since this is going to be a short trip today. I mean, we're talking, you know, this is probably going to be a 2-hour, 3-hour trip. If we're catching fish and it's tolerable, maybe we stay a little longer, but once that sun got up over the trees over there, I can tell you already, man, the temperature is already on the incline. So it's going to be a short trip. So I'm going to leave the camera rolling. You're going to just see me fumbling through the electronics and the motor and all that, and we'll just kind of learn this stuff together and catch some fish together on a real fishing trip. You'll see everything from when we drop baits in to when we pull out of here today. But going back to this kayak setups, again, thank you to Old Town for hooking me up with all this. I'm flattered for a company like Old Town or Johnson Outdoors, you know, being as big as they are, to reach out to me and feel that my channel is a good fit for what they're wanting to do. And so they've sent me free of charge this kayak, the graph, the motor, the accessories that go with it. I got a new life jacket, a paddle. Like, I mean, they've really hooked me up here. And so I spent the last week here just I had to take a day, you know, go pick up the kayak from the shipping carrier. They had called me and they would deliver to my house, but they can't get their truck up my road. My road's too narrow for that. So I went to the shipping company. Here goes our shad. There we go. There we go. Oh, he's going to run. He's going to run. Shad body section again. I like hearing that drag sing first thing in the morning. That fat lady's going to be singing to end our trip in 2 or 3 hours, but in the meantime, I want to hear the singing from the reel. Another small, though. Another small. The light tackle makes fish this size fun. But he's another dinkety-doo right here. I got our net with us. I don't know that we need it on this. We'll just have to be careful lifting fish like this in so we don't accidentally pop our line. He's got that hook right in the bottom lip too. I'm going to have to be careful grabbing hold of this one. Okay, bring him on in one time. Well, good morning, Sunshine. He's insulted I called him Sunshine, ain't he? There we go. Got our hook out. See you later. Arrivederci, fish. Thanks for the good time. That danged old... The problem is, folks, if they keep only wanting the shad body section, you can see how many shad we have here. We are limited for sure. We may have to trim them a little closer to the head there. Maybe we'll go with some tail pieces at some point down through here. I don't know. That chicken better pick up the slack for us, all I got to say, or they better start liking a shad head this morning. We're gonna run through our bait quickly. But I'll tell you this, I'd rather run out of bait than not catch any fish at all and not need any bait. Down it goes. And I'm just kind of, we're right up here. We're still a little far this side of where I would ideally like us to be. We'll just keep tinkering with it to move us back over there closer, keeping an eye on where we're at there on the graph on the contour. Kind of looks like we're actually, the directional line we're going there, it looks like it's headed back that way. We'll give it a little time to course correct here and get us back over. 21 feet deep. But yeah, you know, Old Town was nice enough to hook me up with all this, and so I went and picked it up from the shipping company. Everything else, I picked up the kayak. Everything else was delivered to my house. And so I've spent some time just rigging everything up, and it was a simple process. They've really made it easy to put motors on this kayak. And listen, people put bow mounts and stern mount motors on kayaks all the time, but what you've had to do the last few years, people have been doing that, is buy mounts and adapters to make them work. Like, for instance, my Hobie Pro Angler that I fish the tournaments in, y'all have seen on video. To put a bow mount on there, I had to buy a mounting plate, which was, I'm wanting to say like $150, $200 range. I mean, it wasn't cheap, but I had to buy it. Then I had to drill holes through the top of the hole to mount that adapter plate to, and then mount the motor to it. So 2 things with that. First off, you got to buy the adapter plate, which is expensive. It's been several years. I can't remember the exact price, but I'm wanting to say it was somewhere between $150 and $200. And then you got to turn around and drill right into the top of the hole. So it's one of them things like, or chicken. Nope. He missed it. But he didn't steal our bait, though. Good. We caught that in trying to shoplift in the act, and our theft prevention there paid off. We don't have to worry about running out of chicken, though. It's the shad we can't have them stealing from us. Did he just hit it again, or did I? Maybe it's the kayak moving. No, he did hit it again. He's back. There, he got it. He got it that time. Oh, that light tackle's fun, man. They take over that rod, just bury it. That's the thing. If you match your tackle to the size of the fish you're catching, man, a 6-inch bluegill on an ultralight will bend it in half. Now, when we hook into a monster, and I hope we do today, you really get a good time on this lighter gear. I've hooked some big fish this year on the light gear. Regular viewers have seen it, and it has been a blast. I've been really into the light tackle. Get on up in there, fish. We're going to go ahead and... He ain't really net worthy, but we're going to do it because it's on the left side, and the net was at my left hip and easy to grab, and so here we are. You're the first fish netted of the day. I hope it's a prestigious honor you're proud of, fish. Call you folks. One of you's print this fish a certificate suitable for mounting, would you? He'll hang it on his wall down there. What's that, fish? You live in the water, you ain't got a wall? Well, crap. Maybe we'll get you a digital certificate you can admire on your phone or something. We'll get you something, fish. These people, they'll send it to you in the mail. Check your post office box, fish. That fish ain't got no post office box either. He's out of luck. He ain't getting nothing out of this except a sore lip. Well, that was the chicken. Let's grab some more of it. We'll just cut a little chunk here. I'm not going to do big chunks on this chicken because if you think about it, we're hopefully with this chicken representing a piece of muscle. And mussels, they're not very big. Well, some of them are. I mean, you'll see shells that'll be palm size, but the meat inside them isn't. So when they're down there crunching on them shells and a piece of meat pops free, something like that, or whatever, you catch catfish this time of year that will be completely full. I mean, their bellies will just be full of shells. So I know they're eating this. But that's what we're hopefully representing. Down it goes. I can't remember where I was at in the story now. I think I was talking about rigging everything up, maybe. I done got sidetracked, y'all. But anyway, they sent me this stuff. I picked up the kayak. I've been getting everything rigged up, and I was talking about the motor. That's what it was. I was talking about how easy to rig the motor was. With what Old Town's done, man, they beefed up that plastic up there, made it thicker. So first off, it's able to support the weight and the torque of the motor. The other kayaks, you can put a bow mount on anything, but can the plastic support the weight and the thrust? That's where you run into some issues in the long term, potentially cracking plastic, cracking hulls, especially if you run into something. Maybe you're driving along and you hit a stump with the motor. You can really cause some damage. It's going to be less likely to happen with this one because of the increased thickness of the plastic. In addition to that, they've put molded in inserts. So now, like your Minn Kota quick release bracket, so you can take the motor on and off quickly, you just screw that directly into the hull. You don't have to drill in. So mounting that motor, it took like 5 minutes, and most of that was just because the quick release bracket on the motor itself, I had to take them side panels off the motor. Oh, that one got hit. Here we go. We got another one. We got another one here, folks. Get the camera pointed the right way. Oh, you lost him. I was fiddling with the camera, and we lost the fish. Hey, we didn't lose the slime, though. That was another small one, just ripped us off. Hell, he probably never even had the hook. He probably just had part of the bait. Well, we've lost as many as we've caught today. You better get it together. I'm going to find me another fishing partner that knows how to catch a fish. Let's get back on our bag here. Let's see if we can. This one here is a little bit bigger shad. We may can get few more body sections out of this, maybe at least one more good size one. Trim that dorsal fin off right there too. Yeah, we'll save the, normally I throw the tails out. I don't like tail pieces. But today we may have to, unless y'all plan on bringing some bait with you on this trip, we may have to try one of them tail pieces or two. Down it goes. But yeah, man, it made it easy. Oh, there goes that one. There goes the chicken. Hold on, let's get this one reset. One of y'all grab that rod over there. I'm trying to reset this one. We're going, oh, that one come away too. May have been the same one. I'll send it back down. We missing fish, y'all. We missing them left and right. Oops, there we go. World's worst fisherman here. But yeah, the most of my time and the 5 minutes it took to mount that motor was just removing them side plates to be able to put the bottom of the quick release bracket onto the motor itself. The part that mounts to the kayak, I mean, it was literally just 4 bolts. I mean, it was 30 seconds to do that part. So it made it a lot easier with what Old Town has changed on this kayak. And up there on the left too, you see that little triangular piece on the left? That's a through-hole wiring access. So I haven't done that yet. I'm trying to figure out where I want to keep the battery. Do I want it? Right now I've got it in the front hatch. I can also put it under the seat or in the rear tank well. So I'm trying to figure out where I want to put the battery before I run the wiring through. Tell him to eat it for sure this time before I pick up on this rod and make a fool of myself. We got at least 13 people watching this, and I'm embarrassing myself every time a rod goes down and I miss a fish. Yeah, another tiny. We're on some dinks, but we're fishing again. High percentage area today, folks. This is the game we're playing today. High percentage. We wanted to come out here. We wanted to catch some fish. We wanted to put ourselves in a position to succeed. And up here on these flats, you have a lot of activity, especially here at these, first light. Oh, we're gonna have to do some. Let's see if I can get this. He ate that hook kind of deep. I find that happens some with using chicken for bait. Fish tend to just, I have a theory on that. Remind me to go into it at some point later with you there. There we go. You lucky fish, if you'd got it any deeper, you'd be done for. You don't realize how lucky he is. He got it in the very back of the tongue there, a little bit, another inch deeper, and he'd been gut hooked. But I do seem to gut hook more fish on chicken than any other bait. And I think it's because since it represents the muscle meat, there's no flight risk. A piece of muscle that's stirred up off the bottom there, kicked up, like, it ain't gonna swim off. It ain't gonna get away. They can just come up and inhale it. Versus you take something like a shad or bluegill or skipjack, whatever, they got to attack that bait. They got to try to bite it and crush it, injure it, so that if it does get out their mouth or something, they can still chase it down and get it. It's not going to get away from them. So that's my dumb rationalization that may or may not be accurate, but I do, because of that, when they just kind of inhale those pieces of chicken, even if you're using circle hooks, you'll oftentimes hook them deeper in the mouth or down in the gullet. And I don't know why that is. It doesn't happen nearly as often on other baits for me as it does with the chicken. But that one there, he was close to getting gut hooked. I gotta get my glasses out of here a second. That sun is, bear with me. We're gonna get back into the kayak stories here of telling you about rigging everything. So yeah, so the motor, easy peasy to rig. Got the through-hole wiring access ports. We will eventually move the wire inside the hull to wherever we locate the battery. We'll still have a cord coming on the outside when I connect the motor to the graph, but that will just lay along the edge of that front hatch up there. The graph, Humminbird Explorer 9, it's got the map card already preloaded. It's got side scan, which a lot of catfishermen love side scan. For me, it's just not been something I've ever really utilized. I don't need it for how I typically fish, but we have that option. This fish is going to have the option to let that bait go before he takes it too far. He's taking it too far. Now he's hooked. I knew he was going to regret it. You knew he was too, and he done it anyway. Some of these fish just got to learn the lesson the hard way. You got to let them just make mistakes in life, folks. It's like kids, man. You can only parent them so much, and then they got to be their own person. And this one here, he's a danged old channel cat. I was worried we might run into a pesky old channel cat this morning. And here we go. We done got one. You flinging water everywhere, channel cat. Quit that. He ain't no Sandusky Bay quality, is he? He's what you typically get down here stealing you bait. This is why I don't usually like channel cats here at home, because of this right here. You just don't get big ones. When you do get channel cats, it's these little eater size that are typically going to steal you bait. There he is. So we'll see you, buddy. I hurt that fish's feelings, because he knows I prefer his kinfolk up there in Ohio. You know, no longer than this bait has been down there. Some of the innards have been knocked out, but since we're kind of short on shad body sections, let's put it back down there and see if maybe we can get another one on it. And if we don't get one in just a few minutes, we'll switch it out. I want to try to be conservative with them body pieces if we can, though, because we're just so short on them. But yeah, this Humminbird Explorer 9, man, it's got everything. Got everything we could ever need and more. Mainly with those of you that have fished with me on these videos, you know what I need, though. I need depth, speed, and that map card. I can do everything that I want to do with those three things. And like over here, all this is touch screen. I'm going to look into maybe getting rid of some of these numbers here. Like we obviously need the depth. The clock on here, I don't need that. We need the speed. Whatever this GPS thing here is, we don't need that. Battery supply, I don't need that. So we can eliminate some of those numbers there. I'll have to go in the settings and figure all that out. But that'll clean up our screen a little bit. And I'll figure out how to mark the waypoints and how to, once we link the motor to it, figure out how to plot those. That'll be probably, I'm sure, this will be hard to believe, I know, but I bet there's a YouTube video showing me how to do it, I bet. The main thing the last few days, though, has just been get this thing rigged up and ready so that we can get out here on the water and try it out. And like I said, I went out 2 days ago, netted the shad. I hit the water yesterday morning with the intention of having our first catfish trip in it. And technically, I did get my first catfish. It just so happens it was gut hooked and I didn't have any more leaders. So here we are today, the first official catfish trip. But I'll tell you, man, this kayak, super stable. I mean, I'll stand up right now. Of course, you can't really tell much from that, but for me, you watch a new kayak come out and all these influencers will be doing these stability test videos. Sometimes the individual kayak companies will hire people to do stability tests. And usually when they hire somebody, it's some girl. She's 5 foot tall and 85 pounds soaking wet. And they'll make her stand on the front of the bow and be like, look how stable this is. And, you know, that's fine for some clicks. Does it tell you anything about the actual stability of the kayak? No, because me and most of you watching, we're not 5 foot tall and 85 pounds. We're grown-ass adults. So me being 6'1" and 185, 190 range, I need a kayak. And I don't, you know me, like I don't need a real stable kayak. In fact, I prefer kayaks that aren't as stable because you get the more of the kayak fishing experience. So I need two things with stability. I need to be able to stand up and pee when nature calls, and I need to be able to throw a cast net. And I can do both of those things in this super easily, so stable enough for me. I don't need to stand on the bow. I'm not going to be one of these people, these extreme stability flipping tests where they purposely try to flip a kayak. I ain't purposely trying to flip nothing, man. Like, I don't want to end up upside down. If I end up upside down, something's went wrong. But on these bigger kayaks like this, man, you'd be hard-pressed to flip this thing. Like, you're going to fall out before the kayak flips in most instances. Unless you're, I mean, you would have to be a really, really big person to lean and take this sidewall down so far that you actually flip the kayak. Most of the time, for somebody my size, I'm going overboard before the kayak flips. So it's stable enough is what I'm getting at. So anyway, what's this going on over here? Something's nipping that chicken over there. Be just a nibble. But I've been just getting this thing kind of temporarily rigged up to get us on the water, and it's pretty functional as is. I put a 2x4. I spray painted it black to make it look a little better, but that's a 2x4 I've mounted the graph to. I just cut it to match the sidewalls, match the length. I drilled holes toward the end so I could run a bolt through the gear tracks, and then got them little furniture knobs there. I'd had them for a previous project, but you get them at the hardware store. Home Depot, Lowe's, wherever, they sell little furniture knobs that go on a 1/4 thread, and just screwed it down real tight. And then I mounted the graph directly to it, and I put me another rod holder base there so I can put my camera pole on in case we catch something big enough to be camera worthy today. And then the transducer wire comes up from the bottom, goes inside the hull through a through-hole access that Old Town provided, and then back out. So everything's clean with the wiring. All my fish finder wiring is inside the hull with the exception of the few inches right there under it. So everything's out of the way. It's clean. It's clutter-free. I like that because when if we do land a big fish and he starts flopping around going crazy, you don't want him getting his tail in them wires and flip-flopping and pulling stuff, you know. So, that rod got hit. Guess he thought better of it. So I'm pretty content with how that is right now. Like, I don't know that I'm going to be making any changes to the placement of the graph. Now, what I may do is cut a different board. Instead of a 2x4, maybe get like either a 2x6 or a piece of wood. It don't need to be that thick. I mean, a 1x6 would be fine, or a 1x8, something a little wider, so that I can mount the graph and the rod holders to the board. Right now, I've got these rod holders in the gear tracks. I've taken these rod holder bases off my Hobie Lynx and stuck them on here on the gear tracks. And that's fine when you're using light tackle like we're doing today. But this kayak here, I would mostly be using this just for the tournaments. And I'm going to be using the heavier gear in those. And so I need those rod holder bases securely mounted. And normally I like digging or drilling through the hull and bolting them on. But in a case like this where we've got so much floor space that, as that rod got hit, He's still after it, I think. Wave at the bass boat as he goes by. Yeah, something's been hitting that bait. But with this kayak having so much floor space here, I think maybe we get just a little bit longer board or wider board, mount the rod holders to it, and just have basically a removable dashboard with everything on there. And that way everything's secured. I don't have to drill into the hull at all. It's cheap. I mean, a board he may have it. Nope. We're going to have to switch. If he ain't got it, he's ruined that bait at this point. We're going to switch it out here in a minute. But it keeps everything simple. It keeps everything cheap. I mean, I've got scrap wood there in my shed at the house. And, man, a piece of a board, a can of spray paint, furniture knobs, and a couple bolts to secure it. That's all you need. And now if you want to buy something, an actual kayak accessory, a dashboard, a cross beam, whatever, like there are companies that'll sell you one. They'll charge you $100 if you're willing to pay it. But a board works just fine. And you spray paint it black or whatever color to match your kayak, it looks fine. If I didn't tell you that was a wooden board, you might not have even known. I mean, cosmetically, it looks fine. But that would keep everything easy as far as the rigging goes. It would be removable if I chose to do so. And it would keep everything forward, which would allow us to keep our floor space here. He may have it now. Yep, he does. Let's reel in another one, folks. On the shad body piece that had its innards knocked out and been chewed up a few times. He still ate it anyway. No, he didn't either. He got it, but he didn't eat it. He's got it hooked in the fin right here, it looks like. No, he was just wrapped around the fin. He's got it in the mouth. You tricked me, fish. This fish over here playing games, buddy. He's trying to play jokes on me. He's like, I'll get that danged old kayak catfish guy to think I'm hooked in the fin, but really I'm hooked in the mouth. He thinks he's all cute and funny, don't he? I've had enough of your jokes, fish. Let's get this hook out of you and send you home. You go down there and find some better material, fish. Find some better jokes. I don't think you're funny. This bait thought's had it. Let's switch it out. Get rid of this. We'll take this other shad here that's in the floor. We'll snip the tail piece off. Yeah, that shad was big enough for us to actually get a couple pieces on. These tail pieces, I mean, some people like them. I just don't do any good on them. I've never really done good. I could count on one hand how many good fish I've caught on tails, and I just quit using them. Is that a jet ski coming at 7 something in the morning? It ain't even 7:30 yet, and dang jet skis are out. I'm filming this on a Friday, so there'll be more boat traffic today for sure. Let's lower that back down. I wonder if I'm gonna reel up our chicken here in a second and see what kind of condition it's in after I get that shad poop off my hands. I think we've got the motor dialed in where we're going. You can see though, we're right here on the edge of that drop. So I mean, we've got it dialed in and driving the way we want. Right now we're moving 0.3-ish, so it just took a second to get everything dialed in there with our speed, and that chicken looks okay. It took, just to get us dialed in on the speed and direction, but once we got that, like, we're good now. We can just follow this line and we'll make adjustments to it. Once we get up here and kind of go around this bend a little bit, we'll go whatever direction we need to just to keep us following that edge, but we're right where we want to be right now. And catching some fish. We ain't got no quality yet. There's something big splashed around there. We ain't got no quality worth of crap yet, but we're getting action. We're getting some fish. And you get in these high percentage areas like this, like a flat that's going to have actively feeding fish on it. You could get a variety of sizes. But yeah, I think that's probably what we'll do as far as mounting the rod holders. We'll end up just switching out that board for a little bit wider one that we can put everything on. And what I may can do too with that board once we get it, once we get the final setup, what we could probably do is make a little drawer, because there's so much height here between the bottom of the board and the floor. We could put a drawer down in there, and that would allow us some extra storage for tools and stuff. That would be potentially helpful with that. And I think that's something we could easily do, just to get some kind of like a utility drawer type deal. Maybe like a desk drawer, because those desk drawers are kind of shallow. I don't want a big drawer that's going to go all the way to the floor, but just something that we could put our pliers or some extra hooks or something like that. Stick that in there. Or if we need to charge a phone, put a battery pack in there. Something like that. Just to have an extra storage space, be tucked up under there out of the way. I think that would be very simple to do. But with the gear tracks, and I'm not very good with tools, but I can use a saw good enough to cut that board and drill some holes and just run your bolt through there and you're good on that. And like I said, the motor, everything's pre-done there from Old Town. The wiring ports, same deal. We've got that one on the front, the one for the transducer. If you want to have your graph closer back to you, there's some more. I don't know if you can see, but up under there. And then there's one in the rear tank well behind us back here. If you want to run your battery out there, you see it's got the rudder on here. I put that rudder on. They sent me the rudder kit for this kayak. It was easy to put on. Like, everything's pre-drilled for you. You just screw it in. Your steering cables come up through here. Those inserts were already in the kayak, so very easy to thread them up. The issue I've had, I'm gonna have to take it to a dealer to sort it out. When I ran the cord over here to raise and lower the rudder, I think I run it around the wrong way, and I can't figure out what I've done, because I can't raise the rudder up. So I got to figure that out. I'm just going to take it. Once this kayak is officially at dealers and they're installing the rudder kits for people, I'm going to take it to my local dealer and be like, hey, take a look at what I've done and fix my mistake. It'll be a 30-second fix for somebody that knows what they're doing, because they'll be able to look at what I've done wrong and just run it around whatever way to do it. Oh, there goes our body piece. He's getting him some salad there too. We got some weeds on our line. This fish likes some vegetables with his meat. He's a meat and veggies kind of fish. We brought him right up through that grass. Okay, there it went. I was going to say he's about to be wearing it too. Like one of them old Fruit of the Loom underwear commercials back in the day. You remember them fish, or are you too young to remember? The Fruit of the Loom commercials would have them fellas dressed in fruit outfits. Costumes, that's the word I'm looking for. Costumes, fish. That's when you dress up as something. He's gonna be Skeletor for Halloween this year. That's the hot movie of the summer. My favorite movie of all time, I think. I really like that He-Man movie, y'all. I've talked about it a lot, but I really did. I think me and my wife's going to go see it again tomorrow night, which will make the third time that I've seen it. Because I've literally already seen it. I saw it first with my wife, and then I took my mom to go see it. And I think me and my wife's going to go see it a second time. It's a dang good movie. A lot of the critics didn't like it. I've seen some bad stuff written about it, but I thought it was great. Okay. Hook this bait on. All right. Down it goes. So yeah, y'all, this is it. The Old Town Sportsman 120 Pro, how I currently have it rigged up. Kind of basic right now. Just a couple rod holders. Got my cooler in the back. Got the paddle on the side here in the paddle holder. I will probably end up moving that paddle. Just, it's a two-piece paddle. I'll probably end up trying to put that paddle in the front hatch and keep it out of the way. You need a paddle for emergency purposes. This kayak, though, will be operated by the motor. But if something was to ever go wrong, if you just had a malfunction of some kind or a dead battery, you want to have a backup means of propulsion. And this is just kayak only. This kayak doesn't have pedals. They have a pedal version of this kayak, the same model they came out with last year. But this one it's a little bit lighter weight since you don't have the pedals, and you got more floor space there, obviously, without the pedals. So people who are just wanting to motorize the kayak, this would be a better option for them because it's going to be way cheaper than buying the pedal version if you're not going to end up using the pedals. Like why pay for them? So right now everything's kind of temporarily set, but I don't know that there's going to be a lot of changes with the layout of how I'm going to have it done, and we'll put a few trips into it. Obviously, I've got to film some stuff here in this kayak for Old Town to justify their... This rod on the left's getting hit. But, I mean, Old Town's made a significant investment in me by sending me all this stuff, so I'm going to feature it on the channel for a while. But after we get a few trips in it, we'll kind of know, like, is this kayak going to replace my other big kayak setup? And that'll be just one of the things we figure out with time. See if I like it better. And I need a replacement for my other kayak because it's old. It's a 2017 model. And I've put a lot of trips on that thing, and it's kayaks. They're well built today, but they don't last forever, folks. Plastic and UV rays from the sun, like, that's not a good mix. And so over time, things are going to be more likely to crack or break down, or problems and whatnot. Oh, better take down there. On the chicken. Ain't gonna be very big though. It was a nice takedown, but that's one of them things where the light tackle can fool you on the takedown. them takedowns are fun though. But this one, I'll go ahead and net you fish just because it's convenient to grab the net right here. He wasn't net worthy though, was he? His takedown was bigger than the fish. I'm happy to get him though. We come out here this morning hoping to catch us some fish, and that's what we're doing. Oh. He's ready to go, wasn't he? Yeah, we're catching some fish out here today, folks. We're getting, if nothing else, we're getting numbers. We ain't had no quality yet, but we're getting numbers. And if I ain't going to catch big fish, then the second best thing is getting numbers of fish. What you don't want to do is not catch any fish. As that rod over there got hit. That's the worst. The worst scenario for you is just come out and you don't get numbers of fish, you don't get big fish, you don't get nothing. This river's a half a mile wide, and he's got to zoom by 20 feet from us. These people today, buddy. We're fishing on a Friday, folks. I'm gonna hold off on dropping this down. So the old creek channel, we just went over here. You see the 32 feet? That's because we dropped into that old creek channel. Once we come through this, we're going to come back over the other side. If we were anchor fishing in a spot like this, we could drop baits down into that old creek channel. When I do anchor fish, like that's, and we could spot lock on it, but that's the type of place that I would do. I would look for that drop to signify the original creek bed that was here before they made the reservoir. And because those fish will often follow those, use them like a path to work up shallow. And this is a creek where that boat right there is running. That's a creek that goes back up in there. And fish will follow that out of the main channel up in there to feed, and you can pick them off on the way. But we're on the move, so I'm not going to lower this bait down to 30 feet and then have to instantly raise it back up to 20 feet. Well, I will get snagged, so I'll wait. Our other one over here, though, that fish ain't going to wait on it, is he? He was suspended up over the top of that thing, I reckon. That bait there was 10 foot off the bottom, and he still hit it. He either come up for it or he's up there anyway. Oh, it's a danged old channel cat. Who the hell knows what he was doing? These things, they don't even know what they're doing themselves. Get up in here. Let's I know we didn't do any good when we had that head bait on first thing, but I've got like 4 shad heads here in the floor right now where we've cut them others. Let's try one. Let's give it a few minutes. If I can get this one unhooked. Quit it. Act like somebody. The smallest channel cats are always the most difficult to deal with. Of course, them big ones up there I was catching on Sandusky Bay recently, they're pretty difficult to deal with too. Channel cats are just mean. They're a mean fish. Very energetic fish at that. There we go. Get on, fish. The old channel cat. He ought to be embarrassed how he's acting. He's made his whole family ashamed of him, acting that way on video. Yeah, let's put a head bait back down. Boy, that was a big splash up yonder in front of us. I don't know what that was. All right, we're 24 feet here now. We've come out of that creek, so it's time we can lower this stuff back down now. Go ahead and lower our piece of chicken over here too. Send it back down, and we'll be reset. Yeah, we're getting some numbers today. No quality yet. But, my last session, kind of same thing, was getting numbers, but I did end up busting a big fish that morning. So, the last session I filmed anyway, yesterday, gut hooking one fish and not having leaders and having to go home, that was a disaster. But the last fishing trip you saw, we busted a big one. Same deal, just working flat, edge of a flat. But yeah, we'll use this kayak for a few trips. Figure out what we like about it, figure out what we don't like about it. Try to make it as fishing friendly for what we do as possible. And then make a decision, do I want to replace my Hobie Pro Angler with the motor with this or not? The Hobie Pro Angler needs to be replaced. Like, it's old. It's almost 10 years old and a lot of hours, a lot of miles on that kayak. But there is a comfortability factor with that. Is just, I know what I'm getting with it. I'm used to it. It's just the familiarity, if you will. And most of my trips, now these upcoming trips here you're going to see on this channel will be in this kayak, because again, I'm trying to get some content out for Old Town since they're just coming out with this kayak here. But my primary kayak will still be something lightweight. I like that Hobie Lynx. I like not needing a trailer to haul it with. I like the paddleboard style hull. It's super fun to catch the big fish on it. you can't sink it. There's nowhere for water to get inside. Like there's a lot of things I like about this. So that'll still be my primary kayak. But I've discussed this with you all a lot. Like I need options. If I have a problem with one kayak, I don't want to have downtime on this YouTube channel while I'm repairing it or replacing it. So I need 2 kayaks at all times for that reason. But then I like to have some differences in them. Like I want one that has the motor and graphs and it's rigged out for when I go to tournaments and stuff. And I want another one that's super simple, that's lightweight, grab and go, launch anywhere type deal. So this one, if things go well with it here over the next month or so, this may be a suitable replacement for my Hobie with the motor on it. So we'll see. We'll see. I want to get everything. I want to give this thing a fair test and get multiple trips in it and get everything as this rod's getting hit. The dang chicken's getting something wants it. Another splash over there. Did you see that? Has he got it? I don't know if he's fully got it or not. Yeah, he does. Tough to tell with the lighter rods. They can just be slightly pulling on a bait and bend that rod over and not actually have the hook, but he had it. We land this fish, he's going to be like, Justin, put me back in the water. It's hot out here. Is that another danged old channel cat? It is. It's another channel. Come on. Get up in here. I want you to think about what you've done here, fish. You are not welcome to eat you channel cats are never welcome to my baits, ever. Unless it's in a place like Ohio where you get big. You little ones, I don't want you eating the bait. You're stealing the bait. We could have a 50-pound blue cat down there right now that we're not going to catch because we don't have this bait down there because of you, channel cat. He's getting a bloody lip out of it, though, ain't he? He got it up under the mouth. Yeah, that'll show you. We busted that fish's lip. I'm going to go ahead and put a different piece of chicken on there, I think. That one there, he chewed it up pretty good, so I might as well go ahead. We got plenty of chicken. It's the shad body pieces that we're going to potentially run out of this morning, which we may have to end up putting on another shad body piece. That head over there just ain't getting messed with. I don't know what it is, man. They're peculiar like that. Sometimes they'll just eat only one cut of bait, and if you try something else, they just won't touch it. They'll just ignore it. Well, something's after it right now, though. Something was hitting it over there. Got that one reset. We're back up 21 feet here now. Come out of that creek. We're back up on the flat, and we're just going to work this flat this morning, y'all. We're just going to take a stretch of it here. I'm working upriver. If we had flow, if we had some current flow, we would use it and drift. That would be the best thing to do, but they're not moving any water out here. We haven't had enough rain for them to move water anyway, but because it's been so hot, they're having to really generate a lot in the afternoons to compensate for the electricity demands, the stress on the grid. Because, I mean, the air conditioner at my house right now, it's running nonstop, 24/7, and it can't keep up. I mean, it was yesterday afternoon in my house, and my thermostat set on 70, but the temperature in my house was 80 degrees. Like, the air conditioner can't keep up, and I'm getting that remedied. I had a company come out. Turns out I don't have any insulation in my house, y'all. Surprise! The first day of this heat wave, and I notice it every summer, but like this, I mean, we've had some intense heat this past week, but like you can just feel the heat coming through my ceiling at my house. Like, you put your hand up near the ceiling, you can feel the heat coming through. And I was talking about it, and we'll come to find out your insulation, like up in your attic and stuff, it breaks down over time. Well, I didn't know this. I'm completely ignorant on this kind of stuff. So I have an insulation company come out, and I called them, and they showed up the next day to take a look at things, give me a quote and whatnot. Well, they get up there in my attic. Well, come to find out, the insulation I have up there, and my house is 30 years old, okay, and that's the original insulation. It was rated, it was something they called BAT. Some of you out there knows about building houses and insulation stuff, you'll know more about that than what I do, but that's what it was called. And I'm going to move us here just a little bit to the left to get us back going toward this edge. But anyway, it was rated for R19. And the fella said, like, this wouldn't even be up to code today. Now, it may have been code 30 years ago when my house was built, but at this point today, you got to have R38 minimum in my area, he said. And so you take that in the fact that it's 30 years old and it's broken down, I've basically got no insulation in my attic right now. So then I was like, well, what about up under my house? Take a look, while he's there, just have him take a look. Well, come to find out, I don't have any insulation under my house either. Like, I have no insulation. That's why it's so damn hot in my house, and my air conditioner's running 24/7 nonstop and can't keep up. So, we got one over here chewing up that bait. So anyway, he quoted me a few different prices. One, the cheapest option, as this rod's getting messed with now. The cheapest option is to have new insulation blown in the attic over the top of what's there. That's the cheapest option. It ain't the best option. The next best option is for them to remove that bat insulation, it's called, and then blow in new insulation up there. That's the second best option, and it's more expensive. The third option's the best option, which is to remove the bat material that's up there and then do the spray foam. And that's the most energy efficient, and it don't break down. If you have the insulation blown in, it's going to degrade over time, like I'm currently dealing with now. With my insulation that apparently wasn't adequate to begin with, has declined to the point that now, like, literally, because I mean, when I got my house, of course I've had my house 20 years now. Right rod. He got it. Look at it go. Look at it go down. I love seeing them rods go down. Oh, he dropped it. He said, Justin, if you only like seeing the rods go down, then that's all you're going to see. Let's take a look at this head bait. Yeah, let's go ahead and switch it. Since it's so hot, our chicken over here is getting hit though first. He couldn't get that head bait. He said, I'll just take a bite of chicken, Justin. I'll take a side of chicken. Let's get this one up here to the surface and get a look at him. Yeah, he's a little old thing. Let's get that back in the rod holder and let's rebait this one before we land him. We'll try to be as efficient as possible. There we go. Drop that down, then we'll land this guy, and then we're going to have some more tantalizing conversation about insulation. Just what you wanted to talk about on a fishing trip today. But that's what you get on these real trips, man. We're talking about life. We solving the world's problems, and sometimes we have to solve my problems in between things. And my problem right now is fish. It's hot at my house. This fish don't care. He's hot in the water. Boy, this is another one right here that's ate it deep. You're going to be lucky, fish. I see it back there, but you was real close. You was real close to getting that thing too deep. Well, I may have made it worse, fish. I see the dang thing. I see it. His mouth is just so small, I can't hardly get back there to get it. My glasses are partially fogged up too. That's the other part of the problem. Oh, open up, fish. Open up. There we go. Now we got it. Are you bleeding? I don't see any blood. I think you got lucky. That was another one there that was a close call. He got it way back up in there, but I thought I'd maybe got it down in his gills when I tried to get it out, but I think he's going to be okay. Let's just reuse that bait, that piece of chicken right there. We might as well. It still looks okay. So yeah, folks, they give me these quotes and whatnot, and I'm like, well, I got to do something because, I mean, when I got the place 20 years ago, I didn't have this problem. And it ain't like this heat wave is unique. I mean, this heat wave this week has been exceptionally bad, but it gets hot every summer. And it's just, this year, buddy, it's been, like my air conditioning unit can't keep up because it's been so hot. So I got to do something. So anyway, I decided to go with the foam. I'm like, buy once, cry once. Let's do it right. Let's get the best from the get-go. We'll never have to deal with it again. Because, I mean, let's be real. Even if I don't end up staying, as that rod got hit, if me and my wife end up moving, which we've been looking around at places, whoever would buy our house is going to have an inspection done prior to the closing, and they're either going to require us to get it up to code. There we go on that head. Yeah, another dink though, buddy. We can't get any quality today. We just can't. Well, we got a double. We can't get any quality, but by gosh, we're getting action. We were just flat tearing up the numbers through here. But this is going to be another one that's going to be super tiny. Channel cat on this one. We got a blue on the right side, a blue on the right, and a channel on the left. At least this one here was smart enough to not get the hook all the way down in the gullet like his friend there a minute ago. See you, buddy. You about as big as the bait was. Let's we got these heads still laying out here. Let's go ahead and drop a head down. We'll put a piece of chicken on the one on the right when we get it undone. Ooh, I gotta move us over a little bit here too. We're starting to slide off this ledge again. Y'all keep an eye on that down there for me, on that graph. Come here, fish. Come here now. We got insulation to talk about. This fish don't care about no insulation. This fish never cared about anything in his life except himself. He's a very selfish fish. I can tell by looking at him. He says I've judged him wrong. He said you can't judge a book by the cover, but people judge books by the covers all the time. That's why they put fancy covers on them, because they want to get people's attention. Well, used to in the bookstores. I don't think people go to bookstores anymore. Let's cut a bigger piece than that. I don't even know. I'm trying to think where a bookstore's at in my area. I can't even remember going to a bookstore in years. I think Amazon put all the bookstores out of business. But by gosh, they make fancy covers for them to get people to buy the book. So you do judge books by the covers, folks. You absolutely do. All right. There we go. Back down it goes. We got our left rod over here. Look at that. Y'all reel in another. We're on some fish right here, man. We're on them, buddy. Nope. He hit it and then decided to quit it. Hit it and forget it. You ain't take the bait, though. You ain't got to call the law on that one. So yeah, I mean, my house didn't used to be that way 20 years ago, but it is now. And so I was like, I might as well do it right. Because if me and my wife, if we do end up selling this place and moving, whoever's going to buy it is either going to, well, they're going to use it as leverage against us when they get the inspection done and they find out it ain't up to code. They're either going to force us to fix it. So then we're going to have that money coming out anyway. Or most likely, they're going to get the most expensive quote they can find and try to leverage us to knock us down on the price a little bit. So I'm like, it needs to be done. If me and her continue to live there, it needs to be done. I want it done right. If her and I end up staying there forever, well, I'd rather just do it once. And this foam, it's once and done, versus like the fiberglass insulation will break down over time, just like the insulation that I currently have has done. So anyway, I hired this company. They had good reviews on Google. They had hundreds of reviews, and I scrolled through, and everybody on there was pretty positive, talking about the good work they done, how they were better priced than some of the other quotes they had and stuff. And so the salesman guy come out. He was a likable enough guy. And so anyway, I hired them. So they actually come out and done part of it yesterday. They done the under my house crawl space and sprayed that foam up under there. Now, my attic is a different situation because he said there's two crews. There's one crew that specifically does the removal of the bat that I have up there, and they would also be, if I had done the blown in fiberglass insulation, they would be the crew that does that. The foam crew is a completely different crew. So I have to have one crew come in, remove all that stuff from the attic, and then the next crew will come in with the foam. So it ain't going to be done. It ain't going to be done quickly. I've got to have with needing the two crews. So, but I mean, it will be done. It will be done this month, but it's going to be two different appointments. So it'll be done quick, but it won't be like same day quick. This fish ain't swimming off quick either. He just took that rod over and just kind of sitting there, and I pulled it out of his mouth. I felt him let it go. I'll send that head down again. We're on some fish, man. Like these fish, they're up here on this flat feeding. But the quality thus far has not been adequate to you and me, our liking. We could go on off the bottom of the drop, which is what I oftentimes do. In these summer months, working the deeper ledges is a very productive tactic. However, over the last couple weeks, 2 or 3 weeks really, it just before I went to Sandusky for the tournament, I was doing that, and I wasn't not doing worth the crap. We got another one on here. And then after I got back from Sandusky, I wasn't doing worth the crap. We lost that one too. Y'all are losing a bunch of fish today. I think that's just some tiny, tiny fish. They ain't getting the bait and the hooks too. But the one thing for sure that you can most of the year count on is finding fish in these kind of shallower water feeding areas, whether it's a flat like we're on today or going back up in the creeks themselves. Like you can oftentimes get good numbers of fish in these situations, and then you cover enough water, you stumble into some better quality, either a school of better quality fish or just a kind of a stray straggler good fish. I think that was the situation there on the last video that got published. We had been catching dinks, and then finally, I think we were like 3 hours into the trip, boom, big takedown, really good quality fish. So it's just kind of, it's this time of year, the name of the game is covering water. When we're in like most of our fish right now are still on the nest. They're still spawning. But the fish that are out here, they're roaming, man. The water's warm. They're on the move. Like they're just, they could be scattered and spread out. They're not going to be all, you're not necessarily going to find a bunch of fish schooled up and in one area and just kind of sitting there, if you will, like you can other times of year. So I like to try to cover water at days where I have current flow that I can use. I like to drift with it. Days like today where we don't have any flow, I like to troll, either with an electric motor like we have here, or if I'm in a pedal kayak, just pedal slowly, kind of 0.3, 0.5 mile an hour range. That's a good drifting speed. If I'm dragging this time of year, I can go a little quicker. They say, I don't know who they is, but it's kind of an accepted thing in the culture of catfishing. They say take your water temperature and put a decimal in front of it, and that's the speed you should go. So if the water temperature is 60 degrees, you would go 0.6. If it's 80 degrees, you go 0.8. If it's 40 degrees, you go 0.4. So you just kind of, the faster or the warmer the water temperature, the faster you can go. Now, that's fine when you're dragging because you keep everything on bottom. You can control your depth. When you're suspend fishing like we're doing today, if you try to move too quickly, your baits are going to rise up in the water column. You're not going to be able to keep everything vertical, and therefore you're not going to be able to control your depth unless you go to a heavier sinker. And people oftentimes ask, like when I'm using my heavier gear, I'll get asked questions like, Justin, why do you use such heavy sinkers? I normally use 8 ounces. Well, the reason I've settled in on 8 ounces was because most of the time I'm trolling, I'm going about a half mile an hour. And if I've got an 8-ounce sinker on my heavier gear where I'm using thicker line, bigger baits, etc., I can keep everything vertical directly under me to about a half a mile an hour. If I go lighter than that, I raise it up in the water column. Now, our situation out here today, we're moving 0.4, 0.5 and keeping everything vertical. But it's a different scenario. First off, we're not fishing very deep. We're only 21 feet deep right now. Second thing is our line diameter is very thin. Our hook diameter, very thin. Our baits are small today. That's helping keeping everything down. If we were fishing deeper or with bigger line or bigger baits, there would be more water resistance on the line and the bait, and that would cause it to rise up. So like if we were, let's say we were fishing 60 feet deep, we would either have to slow down or use a heavier sinker to have these same setups. stay vertical, even though we're able to do that now, if that makes sense. So that's why I do what I do on my heavier gear. But this lighter gear, I mean, if we put an 8-ounce sinker on our line, my gosh, these rod tips would probably they'd probably be in the water. It would be interesting show to watch, but not necessarily in a good way. So, anywho, what we're doing is working here. We just got to hope that we bump into a better class of fish. The noodler people, though, like every day I get on social media and look, there'll be some posts from fishermen in my area that pop up on there, of course, and the noodler people, they're the ones that's pulling the fish off the nest. You know, they'll set boxes and stuff for them to go in and nest so they can go and trap them with their hands and grab them out or whatever. And to each their own. I'm not going to do that. I don't have no interest in it. I'd be fearful of putting my hand in some crevice and a dang snapping turtle being there and lose a digit, you know. It ain't for me. But the people who do enjoy that kind of thing, they're doing it now. And I'm seeing on social media every day, they're pulling out big fish off the nest. So I know the spawn is still in full swing here. Like it's still going strong in my area. So that limits the number of big fish that'll be out and about roaming anyway. But it ain't impossible. I mean, I tell you all this all the time, and you've seen it in years past. I bust big fish every year. Right in the middle of the spawn, I'll bust big fish. Just being right place, right time, and boom, rod goes down and you got your monster. It just comes down to time on the water, man. If you got baits in the water long enough on productive areas, you're going to run into some. And this area we're on today, man, it's productive. These flats are productive places to fish. It's just you got to be there at a time when better quality fish are there. And to this point in time, we either ain't come across any better quality fish or they ain't been interested in what we've had to offer. This one here on our right, though, he's interested. He's interested in what we got to offer. I don't know if he's going to be interested in meeting you, though. Hey, he don't want to come up here and shake your hand. I thought he might have had a fish with him for a second, but I think I was seeing a glare there on the water. I had one. Was it the last video that we showed? It's either the last video or the one before. Fish followed him up. He had a friend that followed him all the way up to the kayak, trying to steal the bait out of his mouth the whole way up. I got to get pliers on this fish here. He's also ate it kind of deep, but I can't see where the hook is at because of that chicken in the way. Fish, I would give you that chicken to keep, but I need to get it out of your mouth so I can see where the hook is at. If I can get it out of his mouth. There it is. Yeah, you see, folks, man, this chicken, these fish they just tend to eat it a little deeper. And I think my theory on this has been that they just inhale it because it's of no threat of getting away. Are you another one that's going to get lucky? I don't see him bleeding. I think you got lucky, fish. Well, it's about 3 or 4 of them now that's been real close to being gut hooked, and somehow we've got to hook out. But I mean, it makes sense. If they're down there eating mussels, they know the mussels, they're of no threat of getting away. They're no flight risk. Whereas a fish, if they go after a fish, and there's a misconception about catfish that they're just bottom feeders. They'll eat off the bottom, but they're opportunistic. A big portion of their diet throughout the year is live fish, live baits. They're chasing them down. They're ambushing them. So if it is a fish they're eating, or in our case, cut bait, but they don't know, maybe it's just an injured, they come across a piece of cut bait moving along through the water as we're trolling. It's like an injured bait fish to them. They're going to attack it and bite it and try to kill it before they swallow it. Whereas with this chicken representing the muscle meat, they just inhale it. They don't have to kill it first. And they suck that hook in deeper. And like I said, we're not using circle hooks today. We're using more of a Kale style hook and shiner hooks. But even when I am using circle hooks, I still will get hooks deeper and occasionally gut hook them, more so with chicken than any other bait. So that's just my observation. I don't know. Other people use chicken way more than I do, so they would probably be a better source of information. And most people too, if they're using chicken, they're using bigger hooks. I've took a liking to the smaller hooks this year with the lighter tackle gear. And those are certainly going to be easier to swallow further down than a big hook. Like when I'm using my heavy gear, I'm using 10-aught size hooks. Those are big hooks. Much harder to gut hook a fish like we just caught with those, because he can't even, well, that fish right there on a 10-aught size hook wouldn't even got the bait in his mouth. He would have just stole the bait off the hook. At least with this size of hooks that we're using today, we're going to catch those fish versus just getting ripped off all the time. So yeah, we're getting some fish though. That's the most important thing. We're getting this thing, this new kayak, we're putting some fish in it, getting some practice, figuring out. Because one of the things I wanted to know too is rod holder position. Like how far forward am I going to have to lean to grab a rod? That's important. Also, for video purposes, I need to make sure I've got enough distance between me and the rods to be able to see the takedowns. And it may be that I have to change the angle of the rod holders to go more forward so that we can see the takedowns on video, because that's the most exciting part for me of actually fishing, is seeing the rods go down. I would imagine for those of you that like watching fishing videos, the takedowns would probably be the most exciting part for that too. So I want to make sure I capture those on video. So we've just got some stuff to tinker with and dial in, and that'll take a little time. When I done the walkthrough video of this kayak, which that would have been the last video on this channel, I mentioned that in that video, that like one of the mistakes that I used to make, and one of the mistakes I see other people make when they first get a kayak, they take it home and they immediately just put everything on it. Before they ever take it to the water, they just rig it out. And oftentimes what I would do in the past, I'd permanently rig everything. I'd put my rod holders on, drill through, bolt them into the hull. And you do that, and then you get it out on the water and you're like, well, crap. If I had a do-over, I'd have put them a little bit more forward or a little bit closer to me, or I'd have put this here and that there. And so I've learned through the years to not do anything permanently until I know for sure where I want things to be. And you just can't know that when you first get the kayak home. Like, you have to get some seat time, get a few trips in, fish in some different scenarios, and figure out what's going to be most suitable for you. It's like when I took this kayak out to get our bait, and I'm throwing a cast net. Well, oh, we got one swimming. He's swimming out. Oh, he dropped it. He was swimming out toward the channel there. Let's go ahead and switch this bait while we've got it up here. But like, I'm throwing the cast net, right? And you go to bring your net in. Well, if my rod holder's here, what's going to happen? We're going to catch it on that net. So having it forward, you keep it out of the net's way. But At the same time, too, you don't want it to be so far forward that you have to lean a long ways. So there's a balancing act there. And so in order to find that out, I've got to get on the water and throw the cast net. Got to do that and figure out exactly when I bring the net up, where is it coming into the kayak at? And then I got to get on the water and do some catfishing and figure out, okay, how far forward can I lean for it to be comfortable and still be comfortable for me? And find where that's at. So that would be a piece of advice I would give anybody, is get some seat time. You don't have to have everything permanently fixed and ready to go before you hit the water for the first time. Take your kayak out. If it's a paddle kayak, go paddle it. If you're putting a motor on it, rig up the motor. I mean, we know the motor's going to be up there on the bow, right? Like, that's a given. Well, rig that up and then go fishing. And then figure out all this other stuff. Same thing if you got a pedal kayak. Go out there, drop the pedals down and pedal. Then figure out where you want to mount all the accessories. I think that's one of the things that just I've had to learn the hard way through the years, and I've had some situations where I've mounted stuff permanently, where I've drilled into the hole, and you just, once it's there, it's there. I mean, you could take it off and silicone the holes, but it'd be better to just not drill the holes to begin with if you can help it, until you know where something you want to be is. And on this kayak, I really don't think I'm going to have to drill into anything, because I think I will do another board, just a wider board, mount the rod holders to it, and then I don't know that I would take the board back off, but it would be doable if I wanted to. And with the amount of floor space I have here, I can have a wider board up front and still be able, if I fish a tournament, be able to lay my measuring board for the catfish across the gunnels and still have some floor space for my feet and to be able to put fish too. Because this boat has a lot of floor space. It's not quite as much as my Hobie Pro Angler as far as the width, but the length is pretty comparable to the floor space. At least when I take the pedals out of my Hobie Pro Angler. Like, there's a lot of floor space in this. And in a tournament situation, if you've got a big fish, or like up in, when we went to Sandusky for that last tournament, and you're fishing with multiple rods and you've got multiple fish you need to land, you got place for all of them while you get your measuring board set up and all that. So I like to have options. From just a strictly fun perspective of fishing, I want a smaller, lighter weight kayak. But from a competitive side of things, wanting to do well in the tournaments, the better the tools, the easier the job is to perform. So when you've got a motor with GPS functions that allows you to set a course, set your speed, to spot lock, those are very valuable things on tournament day versus not having those things or having to drop a physical anchor, etc. So it's good to have options. So we'll see if this option pans out for us. If this kayak ain't what I thought it was going to be, I'll tell you that. So I had talked about this kayak without actually talking about this kayak, because Old Town made me sign an NDA. I wasn't allowed to show any videos, pictures, anything of this prior to them giving the okay before the release date of it there. And when the representative reached out to me, he sent me an email and then we had a phone conversation. He told me, he's like, man, I can't answer any questions about this new kayak. He's like, I know you're going to have a bunch of questions. I'd love to answer everything for you, but only thing I can tell you is that it's lightweight and different than anything we've ever done before. And when you hear something like that, naturally my mind is going to go to what I want it to be based on that, right? And, all of this could have been avoided if they'd had me sign the NDA before the phone conversation, well, then he could have answered all my questions and told me everything. But by having the phone conversation first and not telling me anything, other than it's lightweight and different than anything they've ever done before, and then sending the NDA after we've agreed upon everything, it opened up an opportunity for some confusion. And so when this kayak arrived, and I get it home from the shipping company and I undo all the plastic and cardboard around it, I open it up, I'm like, well, this kayak's not lightweight, and it's not different. I mean, it is, but it's not. Like, it's the same. They come out with the 120 Pro model in the PDL form last year, and the EPDL. Like, it's pretty much the same kayak with just a few subtle differences. You don't have the rod tubes, for instance. You don't have pedal drive, obviously. But otherwise, it's pretty much the same kayak. So I messaged my contact person there back. And I was like, thank you again for sending all this stuff. I've received the kayak, motor, graph, etc. But before I rig it up, I just want to confirm that I've received the correct kayak, because you said it was going to be lightweight and different than anything y'all had done before. And, well, this is what I got. Oh, that was a paddlefish over there, y'all. I was looking that way, and he jumped up, and I saw him. That's what some of these big splashes are, the paddlefish. I was looking the right place at the right time, and I saw him come up, completely breach the surface. Big paddlefish. But, anyway, it just created confusion there. So he clarified, and he was like, well, by lightweight, it is lightweight compared to the pedal drive version, because you don't have the pedal drives. And so that is true. It is lighter weight than that. Now, is this a quote-unquote lightweight kayak? Absolutely not. It's 90-something pounds. Way more than that by the time you add the motor, batteries, graph, etc. So it's not what I would consider a lightweight kayak. So that was an opportunity for some confusion. And then, as far as it being different than anything they've ever done before, it is, but not in the way I interpreted it. I thought it was going to be like a completely different kayak design than Old Town had ever done before. But in reality, what he meant by that was that this kayak here is ready for a stern mount motor right out the box. So the PDL version of this, the pedal drive version, last year when they come out with it, was bow mount ready, had them inserts you could put a bow mount on. But in the back, if you wanted a stern mount motor, you couldn't put it directly off the back because of the rudder, so you'd have to mount it to the side. Well, this kayak here, it comes, they sent me a rudder kit for it, which I've put on there, just wrapped the damn cord around the wrong way, apparently. We're going to figure that out. But if you don't want the rudder, you can mount any stern mount motor that has the power pole bolt pattern. Most of them do. Most of them stern mount motors, the mount will be in that 4-bolt power pole pattern, because that's what all the adapter plates use. And you can just do that directly into the hull with those inserts and thread your steering cables up here to your foot pedals. Easy peasy. Well, that's never been done by Old Town before. So it is different than anything they've ever done before from that aspect. Now, people have mounted motors off the back for years, but they've had to buy the adapters and mounting plates, which adds significant cost. I mean, that's one of the things that has frustrated me with kayaks for the last several years. It's like, you spend a great deal of money on a kayak, and then to rig accessories to it, you have to go out and spend more money. So like if you want to put a motor on it, you got to buy the motor, and then you got to turn around and you got to buy a $150, $200 adapter plate. So Old Town did remove the need for that, so they're saving you money on that too. And then if you want to run the wires inside, used to, you would have to buy through-hole wiring kits, which, they're not much, $20, $30, but still, when you've spent as much as you've spent on a new kayak, you don't want to have to spend even more just to put the accessories on. And so Old Town is one thing I think they really nailed with this kayak is they removed the need for all of that extra crap you have to buy to put stuff on. Now you can just put it on. So they're saving people a lot of money with that. And a lot of frustration and time too, by not having to put on the adapter plates before you put on the accessories, and not having to drill holes in the kayak with all that already being done for you. So I'm appreciative of that. But there definitely was some confusion based on what I was told on the phone of how I interpreted it anyway versus what I got. I'm like, man, they sent me the wrong dang kayak. So full disclosure, I was disappointed when I opened this thing up and it wasn't what I had hoped it would be. Like, I was disappointed. I thought we were going to be getting a lightweight kayak that was either a different design than what had ever been done before, or possibly just a kayak that was built or made in a different way that maybe made it lighter. Something really revolutionary. And so when that didn't happen, at first I was a little disappointed. But after getting in it, rigging it up, I'm like, okay, well, this isn't going to be a replacement for me as like a grab and go type kayak that I can launch anywhere. But this could potentially be a replacement for my Hobie Pro Angler that I've been using for years as my bigger kayak with motor and graph and all that mess for tournaments. So like, it could possibly be a replacement for that. So the disappointment quickly faded into excitement, but all could have been avoided if we had just, one, don't fool with the damn NDA. That's silly. Like, I get not wanting information to get out if you're releasing a new product, but like this is just the paddle version of what they already come out with. So I don't think it was that big a deal. But even still, like, if you're adamant about the NDA, just make me sign it before the phone conversation. That way the dude would have been able to answer any question I had, and we could have avoided any confusion. We would have both known. I would have still taken the opportunity an opportunity to work with Old Town and get all of this stuff sent. Sure, hell, I'm going to take it. Like, it's not like I don't want all of this stuff. I absolutely do. So, I would have still done it, but we could have just answered all the questions I had without any confusion. So anyway, I'm grateful for the opportunity of Old Town. I've worked with them in the past when they launched their autopilot kayak back in, I think it was 2020. They sent me one to try out. And then they sent me their Old Town Big Water kayak as well, which still to this day, that kayak, man, if you're just wanting a pedal kayak that can kind of do everything, like I've always referred to it as a jack of all trades kayak. It's not that Old Town Big Water. It's not great at anything, but it's good at everything. Like, you can put it in a small pond, you can put it in a river, you can put it in the ocean, and I've had it in all of them. Like, I've had it in small bodies of water. I've had it in small freshwater canals in Florida. I've taken it off the coast in the ocean. I've taken it down the Mississippi River and won a catfish tournament in that Old Town Big Water. Like, that is a good, solid kayak that you can do anything in and use it anywhere. It is truly a jack of all trades. Again, it's not great at anything, but it's good at everything. So, that is I hope they never get rid of that kayak. I'm hoping they'll maybe, and I don't even know what you would improve on it. Maybe if they could cut the weight down a little bit, maybe. I don't even really know what you would change about that kayak, though. It's a solid platform. But anyway, they sent me one of those there a few years ago, and so I've been fortunate to have the opportunity to work with them, and I'm flattered that they think highly enough of me and what I'm doing on this channel to want to feature their products on here. So I've talked about this with you all before, but it's like I'm open to using different kayaks. And so with the number of views I get and the exact demographic that these kayak companies are trying to reach, you would think I would have more opportunities to review kayaks and try out stuff and put it in front of people. And because I mean, like, you take the kayak that I've been in most recently, that Hobie Lynx. Personally, I love it. It's my favorite kayak. Of any kayak I've ever had, it's my favorite. But it ain't for everybody. It don't have nearly the stability as something like this does. And if stability is important to you, you're not going to want that kayak. It sets very low to the water. It's a wet ride. Like you take water over the bow and any kind of chop. Ooh, nice. Oh no, he come off. He slammed it. Hell, he took our whole hook and everything, folks. That and there. Well, the line feels good too. He just took that thing off. Well, all right then. Well, I don't think we need to replace the whole leader. I think we can just do the hook on this one. We got plenty of leader left and it feels okay. Just broke that dang hook off. I do have us plenty of leaders tied up though. Ain't gonna be in a situation where we get on the water and break off and ain't got no damn leader. Not gonna do that again. Let's tie this on right quick. This airplane flies over. Got the eye in the sky up there watching what we're doing. Oh, there goes it. I'm mid-knot here, folks. Y'all have to reel that one in for me while I finish tying this knot. Bad timing. Bad timing on that fish. Get airplane man up there. Hell, y'all ain't gonna help me. Maybe he'll come down here and reel in that fish. Somebody's gonna have to do it. Here, let's snip that. Let's set it out the way here. Now let's reel in our other one. We've had a little break. We've had a little lull here. We've got off the fish. We're back on some now. Wouldn't it be something if we pull this fish up and he's got that other hook? Oh, this one here is too small to be breaking off a hook. Come on in, fish. We'll at least get you unhooked though, as you fling water all over my glasses and face. That wasn't nice. Quite honestly, it was uncalled for, fish. Your parents didn't raise you right. They didn't. They didn't. They get water all over the camera lens too? No, you all always dodge the water somehow. Always. I don't know how you do it. Let's put another shad body section in addition to the chicken. We got to rebait both of these here. But yeah, back to talking about like the Lynx, for instance. Like, I love it. It's my favorite kayak ever. It suits my needs. But everybody's different. Like, what's important to me and how I fish may not be to you. And so I think it's good to feature options on my channel. Most of my trips, like, I want to go out and do what I want to do, right? Like, I want to spend most of my trips having fun, but like in this case, Old Town coming out with this new kayak and they want to get it in front of some people. They send it to me, well, hell, I'll use it. And they didn't, to Old Town's credit, they really didn't ask much of me on this. They just said, take it, use it. Share your thoughts and feedback on it. I'm like, well, I can totally do that. And even if it turns out that I don't end up wanting to replace my other big kayak with this, it's like, still, we're going to learn a lot about this kayak. You're going to learn a lot about whether this might be a good option for you. Because again, like the Hobie Lynx, like great option for me, may not be for you. My catfishing friends, a lot of them guys love that Bonafide XTR. They love it. I bought one there when it came out. I fished in it twice. I was like, I hate this. And it wasn't no problem with the kayak. Like, the kayak was fine. It was well built. It was just, it was so big and so stable. And it just, for me, the fishing experience in it, it wasn't for me. It wasn't the right kayak for me. And, you know, I had bought that Bonafide, like I had paid out of pocket for it. So once I knew instantly it wasn't for me, like I was done with it. I sold it and went about my life. But like, let's say it was a company that had sent me one. I would have used it longer and I would have told you it wasn't for me. But I would have still put it through its paces so that you could see what it could or couldn't do, or what it was good at, what it wasn't. And that way you can make an informed decision of whether or not you wanted to get one. So I'm grateful for the opportunity here with Old Town. I've got another kayak we're supposedly coming sometime late July. It's going to be an inflatable from a new company. They're named Ventral. They've come out with a inflatable paddleboard style kayak that's going to have a GPS motor that drops in. It kind of looks like the Hobie Lynx, except it's inflatable. Hold on, we got a fish over here on that fresh bait we just dropped down. I think he's got it, man. I think he's got it come up in the water. He had. Oh, he let it go then. My line was slack. He hit it, and then the line went slack. I think he swam up in the water column with it. We'll send it back down. He didn't knock the bait off. But that other one I'll be getting at some point is an inflatable with that motor. And we'll do the same thing with it. We'll get it out in the water. We'll put it through its paces. We'll figure out what it's good at, what it ain't. And you can make an informed decision based on what you see, whether or not it might be a good option for you. But I will admit, like, I'm in the minority. Like, I'm at a point in my life where I want smaller, lighter weight kayaks. That's what I want to spend the bulk of my time in. I want the option of having all the gadgets and the stability for tournament purposes. But for the most part, like, I want to go out in the smallest kayak that has the minimum stability I can get by with and have the most fun possible. That's me. But that's not the norm. Most people want the biggest, most stable kayak they can get. And this kayak here is it's kind of on that level, right? You've got that class of kayaks. This model here, the Old Town Sportsman 120 Pro, the Old Town Autopilot, the New Canoe Unlimited, the Bonafide XTR, Jackson Big Rig. Like those, all of those kayaks I just mentioned are known as being bigger, the most stable possible kayak. So if you are somebody that values that stability, or you want to put the biggest motor possible, or carry the most gear possible, or maybe you're a heavier person, maybe you know you're adding a lot of weight to the kayak, and you need the extra weight capacity that one of those models offers, well, it's going to be more suited for you in that situation. And so that's ultimately, at the end of the day, these kayak companies are going to make the type of kayaks that are going to sell, right? Like they're running businesses here. They have to make products that people are going to want to buy. The largest number of people are going to want to buy. And what the industry has gone to is bigger, wider, more stable. That's what people are valuing. We got double. We got one on each rod. Let's grab this one first. Both of them went down at the same time. Y'all want to grab that rod over there? Go ahead. Reel you one in. You've earned it today. You've earned it, folks. Yeah, there he is. A little dinkety-doo blue cat. Let's see if his friend here is maybe the same size. We just went through them, by gosh, because they went 2 at a time right there. I bet you if we had 4 rods out, we'd have got 4 bites. Maybe more. Who the heck knows? Okay. Let's give him a little slack and land our first one over here. This one at least left the bait on. They left that midsection on. Come on in. Water's warm, literally. It's more than warm. It's blistering hot, fish. I'm sitting here sweating, and it ain't even 9 o'clock yet. Miserable hot out here, y'all. Miserable. Today ain't supposed to be quite as hot as yesterday, but it's going to be within like 2 or 3 degrees. And once you get them heat indexes over 100, it's like, what the hell's the difference in 100 and 105? Can you even notice that? Can your body even tell a difference? Like, here, let's tear that bait. There we go. I'm just going to, let's send that same piece back down while we get this one over here unhooked. That way we don't have any downtime cutting another bait. Because the kayak's still moving and we may be possibly on a pile of them right there. It'd been nice if this fish would have unhooked himself while I was getting his friend, but not going to happen apparently. No, don't do that. You done got yourself all tangled up now in that line. I know you done it to yourself, fish. He done there talking to us. Okay. Boy, he tangled all that up. You old devil, you. Give me that hook. Open up. Got leeches all over his face, too. You don't want to be kissing on this fish. Open up your mouth. Oh, Lord. You've done it, too. Boy, he's another one there. I think you're going to be lucky, fish. It's down there at the back of your tongue. Boy, I tell you, it's another one on the chicken, too. It's the chicken. They're just swallowing it. I'm probably going to get us some, try to find some bigger light wire hooks before we use chicken again. That way we can hopefully deter some of this. If you would open up, fish, I'd done have it out. Goodness gracious. Let me see that thing, fish. Open up, please. You would make it so much easier if you would just open. He don't want to cooperate for nothing, does he? It's back there. It's at the very back of his tongue like some of them others, but it ain't. I don't think he's got hooked. I think he just got to, I just got to get it at the right angle there, which is tough to do. Fish, I may let you have it. I hate to do that. I just can't hardly see down in there to get it. All right, fish. You ain't gonna be as lucky as some of your friends. I'm either gonna do, here, let me use the scissors on it. My pliers are dull. I'm either gonna do more damage or we're gonna get it down in your gills with me trying to pry it out. We'll at least give him a fighting chance right there, folks. Ornery old devil. It's another one of them things though, man. The chicken, they just inhale it. Absolutely inhale it. We're probably going to have to... No, the rest of that come untangled there, didn't he? I thought we was going to have to cut all that. Let me pull out one of our leaders here. Got one half hanging out the bag. There we go. Lord, we got part of the plastic baggie it was in around the barb there. We took part of the bag with us. We're putting a little seasoning on them baits, some plastic seasoning. Just trim this line. We'll save our swivel. Definitely reuse that. Let me set it up here. Out of the way for a second. Yeah, yesterday, man, very first hook. Fish was gut hooked. I had to cut it and went to get in my bag and no more leaders. I had just dwindled down and didn't know it. Y'all didn't tell me I was out of leaders. And Lord knows you didn't bring any with you yesterday. You just never bring anything. I can't get you to bring bait, snacks, nothing. Y'all just show up empty-handed every time we go on these trips together. Okay, what do we need here? What do we need? Piece of chicken? I'll tell you what. Let's get our shad here. Let's work through our shad. Because I'm telling you folks, it's miserable hot. I'm not going to fish much longer. Let's work through these shad body pieces. Since those have performed well, let's at least get through the rest of those. With this bait being 2 days old, I'm not going to use it another day. So we'll work through this stuff here. And if I got any shad left when we leave here today, I'm just going to toss them. Okay, here we go. Now we're ready. We is ready to rebait. Down it goes. There we go. All right. We just come across, and you see all that on the graph right there. We've been seeing stuff all the way up as flat, but that looks like that right there looks like a school of shad with some fish down there under it. And you see we're still just, I've been periodically just moving the motor as needed to keep us on that line as we've went up through here, but it's just been driving for us as we've made our way along. It's just been maintaining the speed and the direction, and we just sit back and reel in fish, easy peasy. Do you need all this stuff and gadgets to catch fish? Hell no. You don't need it. I got a bunch of videos on my channel, just basic kayak, no graph, no motors, no nothing. Y'all have seen it. Hell, I've probably got 100 videos on my channel of me catching trophy catfish with no motor and no electronics. Just common sense knowledge. But better tools make doing the job easier. You don't need this stuff to catch fish, but does it make it easier and more comfortable to do so? Absolutely. So if you're somebody that wants this kind of thing, it's getting easier and easier to make it happen with companies like Old Town here making it. And I have to believe other companies are going to do the same thing. They're going to beef up the bow. They're going to put the inserts in the back to make it where you can easily mount motors without all the adapter plates and stuff. I mean, these kayak companies, they see these aftermarket third-party companies making products that are making their kayaks better. They're going to make their own version of that at some point, right? I mean, they're all going to. So that's where the industry is going toward. I hope at some point the pendulum swings back and we get some lighter weight, smaller options. But right now, these companies, man, they have to make products that have the greatest likelihood to sell, or that are going to be the most appealing to the most people. And right now, what people want are bigger, wider, more stable, higher weight capacity kayaks. That's what they want. So that's what companies are providing. And unfortunately, I'm kind of left out a little bit, because, what I want is a paddleboard style, like a Hobie Lynx, that is the same weight or lighter and more durable. That's what I would, if I could draw up my own kayak right now, that's what I would go for. But I'm about the only person on the face of the planet that wants that, I think. Everybody else seems to be the exact opposite. And to each their own. I mean, you got to do what's best for you and making your time on the water most enjoyable for you. I can't tell you how to fish. I can't tell you how to have fun. That's something you got to figure out. But we've got more options on the water now than ever before, as far as kayak options and stuff. Man, when I started doing this, I got my first kayak, I think it was 2008. So almost 20 years ago, I got my first one. And back then, man, if you got a fishing kayak, it meant that you had just a normal kayak that had rod holders, molded in rod holders. That was the only difference between a recreational kayak and a fishing kayak. Was a rod holder mount. And back then, you had Hobie. You had, of course, Old Town's been around forever making recreational kayaks, but as far as fishing kayaks goes, you had Hobie, you had Native, which was my first real fishing. Oh, we got a double. No, the one on the left. Oh, hey, this one coming down. That one stole our bait. And the other one didn't hook up. He may have gotten our bait, but he didn't. We'll stick his head bait on this one. Put a body section on the other one. If he ripped it off, I'm gonna reel it up and find out. Dang, don't fit. Both of them hit at the same time, and neither one of them got landed. We terrible fishermen out here today, folks. I blame the heat. The heat's making it hard to stick fish. No, that bait's still on there. Okay. Back down it goes then. But my first real true fishing kayak was that Native Ultimate sit inside. And the options back then were just so limited. We just didn't have much. And you fast forward here almost 20 years later, and my gosh, you have so many options, so many different lengths, so many different widths of kayaks. I mean, different brands, motor options, back in those days, you know what people were doing for electronics back in there? Because it was mostly sit-inside style kayaks. And there were no transducer mounts. So you would take your expensive transducer from your fish finder, and you would cut a piece of foam that would encompass the transducer. You would put a layer of silicone down, put that transducer into the silicone, and put silicone around it, and it would stick to the floor of your kayak. Now, that would give you an accurate depth reading, but it wouldn't give you accurate water temperature. And your transducer was ruined if you tried to move it to a different kayak. But that's how you done things back then. There were no companies making transducer mounts. The kayaks themselves, like here, this Old Town Sportsman 120 Pro right here, I mounted that transducer for the Humminbird Explorer up under the kayak in the transducer mounting spot, the spot that's made into the kayak. As this fish is he got it? He's hooked. He's another one though that's as big as the bait. I can tell by the way he hit it. He's probably half the size of the bait. Danged old fish. Threw the bait off too. And come on. Come on, you old thing. Let's get that hook out. You put it right through your bottom lip. You got you a piercing today, a lip piercing. He said it saved him a trip to the mall. That's where he was going next. Okay. Let's take another one of these, one of the few we've got left here. Body section's definitely been more popular. But yeah, man, like nowadays it's so easy. No matter what you want to rig on a kayak, you can do it. It'll either be easy right out the factory, like a lot of the things on this kayak are to rig, or you can buy a adapter or something to attach it to your kayak. And back in those days, man, when I started, man, you had to DIY everything. Everything was DIY. You would take a plastic milk crate and put some PVC pipe, basically just PVC pipe from the hardware store, put it in every corner, zip tie it to it. And that would be how you would store your rods in the kayak. You'd keep all your tackle in that crate behind your seat. Now, boy, you got there's so many tackle storage options now. Nowadays, we have life jackets made specifically for kayak fishing with a higher back so don't interfere with your seat. Like, you just have so many options now that you didn't have 20 years ago. Like, it's an amazing time to be a kayak fisherman. But still, these kayak companies are going to follow the money. They're going to follow the most customers. And I don't necessarily fit that mold. At least not right now. A few years ago, when for me it was just about getting the maximum amount of content, I wanted all the gadgets, man. I wanted the motor, the live scope, etc. Now I don't really give a damn about getting maximum content. I'm kind of retired at this point, folks. I just kind of do what I want to do when I want to do it and film videos while I'm out there. But like now it's more about, for me, doing what I want to do. And so I'm trying to find the kayak that's going to best suit those needs. So right now, at least at the present time, you'll be seeing most of my trips out of the links with my tournament trips and days where the weather ain't as good. That links is terrible in high winds or choppy water. You definitely need something like this in those conditions. Something that sits higher, better weight capacity, is going to shed water better. This is more suited for worse weather or bigger water than the links, but like for me, most of the trips will be in it, and then I'll have one kayak that'll be rigged out to the max. And I'm fascinated too with the inflatable technology. Like you talk about cutting weight. Now I don't know if it'll work out for catfishing, but boy, if it does, that would be a true game changer if it did. But with the catfish, them sharp pectoral fins, and then you throw in concrete boat ramps and rocky shorelines, days like today where it feels like the face of the sun out here, that sun heating up the air inside the kayak or the inflatable kayak causing it to expand. Like, will that bust the seams? A lot of unknowns with the inflatables, but I'm definitely fascinated. I'm here for it. I'm here to try it out. I'm excited the other company's going to send me one just so I can try it. It'll either work out or it won't. We'll find out either way. I'm not going to pull punches on things. Like, if it turns out to be garbage, I'll tell you. If it turns out to be great, I'll tell you. That's the same thing with Old Town here, man. Like, you go back in time to when the autopilot come out. I told you what I liked about it. I told you what I didn't like about it. I ended up using it about a year, but ultimately decided that for my tournament platform, it just wasn't the best platform for me. It's a nice kayak, very well built. But it was kind of slow, and the motor that came with it I had some problems with. I had 2 warranty claims there in the first year. And it was super heavy, and ultimately it just wasn't for me. A lot of people love it, though. Some of our guys in the tournament group, they fish out of that Old Town autopilot, and they love it. So, I mean, kayak fishing is so individual. It's so personalized. It's not a one-size-fits all. Even if you're somebody, you really enjoy my videos, you enjoy how I fish, you're wanting to set up a similar setup to what I do so that you can do the same thing. Like, it still doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to like fishing out of the same kayaks that I do, or that you're going to want to rig them the same way that I do. Like, it's very personal. It's a very personalized thing. And there's no right or wrong. Like, it's not a one size, you have to do it this way or else. It's not like that. Like, at the end of the day, you're on a floating piece of plastic. Rig it however you need to accommodate your needs. But this kayak here, I don't think we're going to be making many changes to it. I'll change that dashboard. When I figure out where I want the battery, we'll run that motor wire inside the hole. We'll eventually put the paddle inside the hatch up there, get it out of the way over here on the side. I'm probably just going to do 2 rod holders on it, because most of my trips now, another big splash over here to our left. Most of my trips now, I'm just fishing with 2 rods. Whether it's heavy tackle or light tackle. Like, I'm not, for a while I was fishing with as many rods as I could. I started out minimal, went to as many rods as I could, and now I'm back to minimal. It's the cyclical progression of things, folks. We start simple, overcomplicate, and then go back to simple. That's how it usually goes, at least for me anyway. But I'm probably just going to run with 2 rods on this thing. I'm at a point where I've just come to realize, like, if I'm fishing where I need to be, when I need to be there, 2 rods is plenty. It'll give me all the action I need. If I'm not where I need to be, when I need to be there, it don't matter if you're running 10 rods, you can't catch fish that ain't there or that ain't willing to eat. So for me, I don't think that having a bunch of rods is going to change the outcome. Like, you take that Sandusky tournament there that I went to. I cashed in it. I fished 2 tournaments at the same time. I finished 3rd place in one, 4th place in the other, won $1,300 and some odd dollars. In Ohio, you're only allowed 3 rods max anyway. But I was fishing with 3 rods. I had 2 light ones and a heavy one. All but one of my fish were caught. I take it back. I caught a drum too. I got 1 drum and 1 catfish on the heavy tackle rod. All of my other fish for the tournament came on the light tackle. So all I needed was those 2 rods. I didn't even need that 3rd rod. When I went down to Louisiana a couple years ago and I won that tournament on the Mississippi River, I was fishing with 2 rods. And I was competing against guys running way more than that. Some of them run 8 and 10 rods at planer boards. That tournament I won in North Carolina, I think that was 3 years ago, over in Kerr Lake. I was competing against guys running planer boards and 8 to 10 rods. I fished 2 and led that thing start to finish, man. Because I mean, it ain't about how many baits you can put out. It's about where you put your baits. Now, unfortunately, today we just ain't put them in front of big fish, apparently. But we're in an area where we could at any time. I mean, running the top edges of these, when you're on these ledges, and fish up on these flats, they could be roaming around. They could be anywhere on the flats. But specifically on the ledges, I like working either the top or the bottom, right on the edge. Up here on the top today, I've tried to keep us right before where it drops off. If we were running the bottom edge, we would try to work it right where it starts to come up at a steep angle. Because those fish will follow the contours oftentimes. Those are high percentage plays. Well, I don't need planer boards and a half a mile spread of my baits to cover that. Like, I can fish 1 or 2 rods and work those break lines effectively down these ledges, whether I'm running the top like we are today or the bottom. We can put our baits right on that break line, just fishing two rods. We don't necessarily need to cover as big a spread as what you can do with planer boards and more lines out. Now, there are situations where those are effective, more so than others, flats being one of them. If we wanted to really effectively cover this flat today, it would behoove us to put out as many lines as possible, with as far a distance apart as possible to cover that. But we're trying to do the high percentage play, which is focus on the edge. If we were working back in a creek where fish could be spread out anywhere feeding in that creek, again, planer boards are effective in that situation. But for this ledge fishing, like I oftentimes do in the summertime months, 2 rods is plenty. We could do it with 1 rod. 2 rods at least gives us a chance to test baits. Either put 2 different baits side by side and see what outperforms, or 2 different cuts of the same bait. It gives you just a little bit more flexibility, a little bit more options. You can still dial it in with only using 1 rod by rotating baits ever so often and kind of figure out what fish want. But it just takes a little bit more time. And 2 rods, you're going to get some tangles. You hook a fish on your right rod, he swims instantly toward the left, you're going to get some tangles. But not nearly as much as what if you're trying to fish with more than 2. And 2 rods is still pretty manageable. Even if you're somebody brand new to kayak catfishing, 2 rods it's manageable. You might still want to start with 1 if you're brand new, but you'll very quickly end up going to 2. Oh, right rod. There it goes. Oh, he come free. Took our bait too. Took our whole leader. Hey, boy, he snapped that leader up to the top. Boy, it's all abraded right there. I wonder how we got abrasion all the way up there. Crap. We ain't had the best luck today as far as keeping fish hooked or not losing rigs. But we've caught the hell out of some numbers of fish today. I mean, if it was possible to eat fish out of here, or if you wanted to keep some from the table, today would have been the day to do it, because the size we've been catching are perfect eater size, and there are lots of them that we've had, but we've missed as many as we've caught. And Now we left one hook in a fish and we've broke a couple off. Some days it just be like that, y'all. But we got plenty tied up. I sat there last night and tied up a bunch of leaders for us. So we ain't running out today. And we ain't running out on the next trip either. Let's go ahead. I'm going to cut another bait here. We're going to switch that other bait out as well. It's probably at this point, even though it ain't been messed with much, it's been down there bleeding out in this hot water as we've moved along. Baits in hot water bleed out quicker, whether you're trolling like we are today or if you got current flowing and washing it out. They just don't last as long in the summer. So we probably need to go ahead and switch. And you can see, look at all that right there on that, all that shad right there. Big school of shad from 10 foot down to 20 foot down on the screen. We're 27 feet deep here where we're at. Actually, this bait still looks to be pretty good. The innards and everything's still in there. Let's send it back down. We just ain't on the number of fish right now, I guess. There we go. Got that reset. Now I'm going to adjust the motor again to a little bit to the right. Keep us on that edge. We have went off a little bit deeper. Coming up on this other island over here on the right. I'm probably going to fish up here not much longer. I'm probably going to get up here past the top of this island maybe. There's so much shad, y'all. It's saying we're 8 feet deep. We're not 8 feet deep. It's just the shad is so thick. It's completely blacked out our screen. There's so much bait down there right under us right now. There's got to be some cats somewhere in or around all of that, because it's completely blacked out our screen. Yeah, I ain't gonna fish much longer, y'all. It's miserable hot. I'm baking out here. We'll give it another 30 minutes to an hour. Make our way up here past this island, and then we're gonna call it a day. Me and you, we go in the air condition. I love fishing, but boy, when it gets this hot, I don't want to do much of anything except lay in that air condition. And it ain't even gonna be comfortable to lay in today because it's so dang hot in my house. I gotta, well, I don't really have to, but I want to. I want to figure out something with my shed situation too at the house. That was probably going to be my big project this summer, although the insulation costs. Turns out putting insulation in your house ain't cheap, folks. No matter what route you go with. I mean, there's cheaper options if we had just went and put the fiberglass insulation down on top of what was still up there in my attic, but going the best route ain't cheap. So that cut into my house funds for the year, but I was going to figure out something with my shed. Right now, I've got a 12 by 12 size shed with a lean-to off to one side, and it just ain't quite big enough. First off, the door ain't big enough to get my mower in there. So I got to leave it on the carport, and I've got all them kayaks on the dang carport, taking up all that space. So I was thinking about getting either a bigger shed or having a garage built this year. But I've got some TVA power lines that cut across my property, and so I'm kind of limited on how far in that direction I can go without getting in the right of way of those lines. Because you got to have, I think it's 100 feet on each side of the lines. Pretty sure it didn't used to be that much, but then they expanded the right of way several years ago, and they come through and cut a bunch of trees on my property and left it a mess. I was so pissed. I got smart mouthed with the guy too, the foreman guy or whoever. He was up there leading the tree operation when they come through, and and they left it looking so bad. And I got smart with him because, again, I didn't have a say in this. There was no vote. There was no public hearing for homeowners to voice their concerns. It was just a situation where TVA, some suit in an office there at TVA decided we're going to expand the right-of-way, and any trees that are in that right-of-way now get cut down. And my backyard at the time was pretty much woods, and so they just come through and left rod. That bait that we put back down got eat. Another dink though. Another dinkity-doo. Dinkity-doo, I love you. Dinkity-doo, you smell like poo. The fish didn't find that funny. He's hooked on the side of the face too. He definitely don't find that funny. He's not even got it in the mouth. He's literally right here in the side of the face. Right near, it's a wonder you didn't shoot your eye out, fish, like Ralphie. Okay, look where he got him. Come right out though. You know what we had? Oh, we got that rod. Hold on, let's bait this one. We got the other rod going down. Well, he may have let it go. Let's put the head bait on this one. That way we got a head and a chunk still. Because I know we got a chunk on that side too. Okay. Is he on there? Nope. Gone. Bait still looks good though. Yeah, we got to move back to the left too. We're venturing up on this flat, away from the edge. The bottom's curving down there a little bit. We got to move back to the left. Let's fix that. What do I do with my remote? There it is. There we go. But yeah, so anyway, back to the shed or garage. I get smart with the TVA guy because they're making my property look terrible and cutting down on trees, and he's like, well, I'm doing you a solid here, buddy, because your shed is in our right-of-way, and we could have you move this shed if we wanted to. So he kind of put me in my place at that point. But my shed, at the time it was built, was not in the right-of-way. And you'd think you'd be grandfathered into such a thing. But nevertheless, I'm limited on the space I can do on that side, and I'd like to keep it on that side. But I'd like to have a bigger shed or garage with a garage door big enough that I could get my mower into. This fish has got a bait big enough to fit into his mouth. Or get his mouth in. You know what I'm trying to say. The heat's baking my brain. He's trying to run off with it over there. I'm going to be curious to review this footage today and see how the rod angle looks for video purposes. I may have to angle them forward. Has he got this thing? No, he don't. Just down there messing with it, chewing on it. But I would like to have a bigger shed for sure. My shed for storing my stuff was fine, but with my wife there, you know, she's got stuff that she needs to store in there too, and they just ain't enough space. So that was going to be this summer's project. It was either building onto my shed, replacing my shed, tearing it down, building a garage. I don't know. But spending a few $1,000 on insulation now on the house, that's going to cut into that a little bit. But I'll still look into it more. Just got to figure out what I want. That's the main thing. It's like, what do I want? And then figure out how to make it happen from there. Right now, I'm still just trying to figure out, like, do I want to go the shed route? I had that lean-to built on my current shed a couple years ago, and I've had buyer's remorse ever since. Because everything under it gets wet. And I don't put that much under it. So it was kind of a waste of money for something I'm not using. I'd like to have everything enclosed. Oh. Right rod. He's trying hard. He ain't very big, but he's trying. A for effort there, fish. A for effort, buddy. We've caught the hell out of fish coming up through here this morning, y'all. All up and down this flat. As we've either, I don't know if it's just the location or just time of day, the bite seemed to be slacking off. But I mean, we've caught a bunch of fish out here this morning. We don't want to catch these though. These danged old channel cats, buddy. This is another one that didn't get hooked in the mouth. He got hooked on top of the head. I think what happens is these fish come up, they bite the bait, they feel some resistance, and then they roll. They go into their little catfish death roll. And when they do that, if they don't fully have the bait, they'll oftentimes roll into the hook. Looks like we've got 2 shad that we haven't cut yet. And then we're going to be down to scraps. Which tells me it's about time for me and you to go home soon, in addition to the heat. We're going to need these fish. If a big one's going to bite today, it better come on. Because they're running out of time to get on this video. It's still possible, man. We could do it at any time, but between the heat and running out of bait here, we got this piece, a couple other body sections, and a few heads. That's what we're down to today, folks. We've made the use of it, though. I'll tell you that, buddy. It ain't like we're going home with a bag full of bait. I'd rather run out, because we've caught the hell out of fish, than to go home with a cooler full that I'm just going to have to throw out anyway. I got to pick up a couple things today, though, on my way home. Well, one of them may not be there. Or it may not be there yet. It's coming in the mail. But the other one, I got to go to Walgreens. I had some posters made. I told this story on a recent video. My wife got me it's a wonder she didn't get the law called on her. But she got me a display stand for my LJN wrestling figures. They're currently at Target now. Well, none of my local Targets have them anymore, but they were out at the Targets. They're a cardboard display stand. And they look amazing, and I wanted one for my office, and so my wife found an employee at one of the local Targets that would let her basically just walk out of the store with it. And so she brought that thing home, and of course the stand is made for figures in the packages, and I open mine up. Gotta let them figures breathe, you gotta play with them a little bit. And so I got me some styrofoam and put down at the bottom of the shelf to raise the figures up so that the feet will be in line with the bottom of the shelf, and it looks really good. But the back of it, like at the back inside the shelves there is just cardboard color, just brown cardboard color, and so I wanted to cover that up. And so I've had some posters made at Walgreens, and it's the same color as the display stand on the outside, and it says WWE Superstars in the same font. And I'm going to put that as a backdrop behind each one of those shelves, and then I've ordered some stickers, and I'm hoping they show up in the mail today, with the old school WWF logo from like back in the days when the LJN figures first came out back in the 80s. And I've ordered 4 stickers. So on the top of this display stand, it has a tear in it. Whoever set it up there at Target, they had taped a piece of paper to it with like the sales price or whatever for those figures. And when that got taken off, it ripped the cardboard up on top. And so it kind of looks bad, but I'm going to put one of those old school WWF logo stickers right over the top of that tear in the cardboard. And I think when I do that, it's going to look like it was meant to be there, the way the position is. So I think that's going to look really good. And then I got some more stickers. So on that styrofoam where I've built up the shelf, the styrofoam's white, which looks like, for those of you that are my age, in your 40s, and you grew up in the 80s as a kid, if you had the LJN figures and you had the LJN wrestling ring, if you remember, it was white. The bottom of it was white, and it had, or the floor of it was white, and it had that WWF logo right in the middle of it. Well, with the styrofoam being white, it kind of looks like a ring mat. And so I'm going to get those stickers, the WWF logo stickers, and put in the center of those pieces of PVC as this fish is hooked up. We got another one. Another small, though. I want to bust a big fish today so bad, y'all. I don't know if it's going to happen, though. We keep getting these little dinkity-doos here. Come here, fish. Oh, quit that flopping now. Let's give me some slack. Let's see where you hooked at. I don't want to get that hook in my thumb. Oh, no. Boy, he's another one that's... Boy, we've had some bad luck on these small fish. Yeah, he's another one. We're going to have to cut it here. Dadgummit. Well, we've had some really bad luck today with the small fish just getting them hooks deep. Okay. Well, let's pull out another one. Yeah, but anyway, I think if I put them stickers on them little styrofoam shelves that I've made, it's going to look like a wrestling ring. And then, of course, fixing the backdrop to get away from that brown cardboard color to make it the same color as the blue on the outside with the WWE, Superstars in the same font and everything. I think it's going to look really good. So my posters from the Walgreens, they're ready. I got to pick them up. I think the others, the stickers, are coming in the mail today. And I'm pretty excited about it, folks. You all know me. I've been going through my midlife crisis the last couple years, and I've been really into action figures. And so the WWE Superstars figures and the LJN figures have been my main 2 things that I've been collecting. But I've added a few more lines of figures too. The Knuckle Crunchers, Masters of the Universe, Mighty Masters figures, the new movie figures. I've went overboard with it, y'all. I really have. My midlife crisis it's getting out of control. Let's put this headbait on. go. Oops. Drop that rod. That'll spook some fish. Let's drop it down. We almost up here to the top of this island. We're gonna fish up here to the top of this thing, and we're calling it a day. If we ain't got a big fish between the distance we've covered and the top of this island, I guess we just ain't gonna get one today. I'm still holding out a little bit of hope that we do. I'd love to bust a big one. Every summer, man, every summer during the spawn, fishing gets tough for big fish. Now, you can come out and bust numbers like we've done today, but big fish bite gets tough. But I still manage to catch them. It's just putting in the time, logging the hours, just getting after it, man. That's what you got to do. You just got to get after it. Oh, good. I think these guys in the boat over here is getting ready to move on. Y'all know I hate talking around people. I feared coming out here today on a Friday that there would be people around this morning. Yeah, they're going on. Good. All these years doing YouTube, I still don't like talking on camera around people. Yeah, so anyway, my action figures, y'all. I've got one side of my desk in my office with some shelves. It's all WWE Superstars figures. This LJN stand that my wife got/stole. I mean, dude was like, he's like, you can have it. Just walk out the door. Nobody's going to stop you. Because they're just going to throw them displays away anyway. But nevertheless, my wife got it, brought it home. It fits perfectly on this one wall beside the closet there in my office. And so I've got my LJN figures on it. And on the other side of my desk, I've got some more shelves, and I've got the Masters Universe figures over there. And there's another little, like, mini cube shelf, if you will, that is from the floor up to my windowsill. And I've got the WWE Knuckle Crunchers ring with the Knuckle Crunchers figures on it because it fits perfectly there. So, I've got action figures. If you walked into my office right now, you wouldn't even know I was into fishing. Like, there ain't nothing there fishing related. My YouTube silver play button. That's the only thing in my office at the present time that would give you any inkling that I was into fishing at all. Everything else is action figures. My midlife crisis has gotten out of control, y'all. I'll be the first to admit, but something about it. I just like the action figures. I'm going through my childhood again. I don't know. And right now, those miniature figures, the Mighty Masters, He-Man, so I bought a Castle Grayskull. I don't think I told you all about that. But I've got it up on the very top shelf. And Castle Grayskull, when we were kids, of course, the He-Man figures, the Masters Universe figures, they're like 5.5 inches tall. And the Castle Grayskull's 18 inches tall. So when we were kids playing with them, the height of the castle didn't really scale very well with the figures themselves. It seemed more like a Castle Grayskull house than a castle. Oh, would you see that jump up right there in front of us? That was a paddlefish. He jumped right there, right in front of us. I was looking that way, and the camera was too. He come up right there in front of us, man. Oh, that was awesome. There's some paddlefish in this area right now. They're here every summer, this part of the river. I guess they make their way down after they spawn. They get stuck up at the dams trying to spawn. People go up there and snag them. But snagging season for paddlefish here is only 1 month out of the year. And then those fish, when they're done with their spawning ritual, they make their way back downriver. And for some reason, you'll see them oftentimes in the morning hours. They'll just be flying up out of the water, completely breached the surface. And I just happened to be looking that way at the right time, and he come up. That's the second one. I saw one there earlier, too. So they're around. But anyway, them He-Man figures, 5.5 inches tall. Castle Grayskull's 18 inches tall, so it's functional. Like if you want to, when we were kids, you want to have a battle or something between He-Man and Skeletor to fight for Castle Grayskull, you could do it. But these new Mighty Master figures that are 3 inches tall, or 3.25 inches, I think, actually, those figures scale so much better with the Castle Grayskull, because you figure, man, a figure that's 5.5 inches tall, Castle Grayskull is only 3 times as tall as the figure. But with the Mighty Masters figure, it's 6 times as tall. So from a scale perspective, like when you're standing back looking at it, it looks like Castle Grayskull's way more majestic. And those little Mighty Masters figures, man, they're probably the best value in action figures right now. They're $4.97 at the Walmart. Right now, there's only, the Series 1's the only one out right now. Series 2 is coming. But they're $4.97. They're very detailed for what they are. Like, they're the best value in action figures right now. And I love them. And them next to that Castle Grayskull, it looks amazing. But unfortunately, I get into those and I see them WWE Knuckle Cruncher figures, but I really hadn't paid much attention to otherwise because they weren't appealing to me. But I see those again and I'm like, I bet those would scale pretty well with those Mighty Masters figures. And sure enough, they do. Now, the Mighty Masters figures are better. The WWE Knuckle Crunchers figures, the feet are too big and the forearms are too big. Like, they're not proportionately accurate like the Mighty Masters figures are. But height-wise, as we got 2 jet skis going by, it's definitely about time to go, y'all. 9:30 in the morning, damn jet skis running out here. The Mighty Masters figures looks better, but they're the same height as these Knuckle Crunchers, and so they scale pretty well together, the whole shebang. And so the next thing you know, I'm into the damn Knuckle Crunchers too. And so I've been picking up some of those. I've gotten a few figures. I've gotten the ring. It's a problem, y'all. I have an action figure problem. And my wife, she's enabling me. You'd think, being the woman in my life, she'd put her foot down and be like, get your act together, Justin. You're a grown adult. You don't need toys. But she encourages me. And she's got her own toy problem because she's really into Legos. She sat there and built some Disney Lego castle last night. We're sitting there sweating to death because my house is 80 degrees. And I'm sitting there playing Mario Kart while she's on the couch beside me putting together her Legos. This fish, he ain't never built a Lego before. This fish is the same size. If there was a Lego-sized catfish, like a Lego action figure, if you will, it would be the size of this fish. This one here wouldn't even be eater size. He wouldn't even be big enough for a snack. I can't get that hook out of him either. There you go, fish. Go on. We'll see you, buddy. Let's switch out this head. All the stuffing's knocked out of it. Here, let's grab this one. It's our last whole shad that we have left here, folks. We're down to the scraps here, if you will. Okay. Down it goes. 25 feet deep. There's another catfish boat that's set up behind us over there out in the channel. I didn't even see them come up. I glance back and there they are. I could have made an argument to do that. I just ain't been doing as good out the channel lately. I've done better on the flats. we're going to come out here and fight this heat, I at least want to catch some fish. I don't want to get skunked. But yeah, my wife, man, she's into the Legos pretty hardcore. I should have had her put on my rudder on this kayak, because she loves following directions. This fish ain't following no directions. He ain't following no directions, is he? He's going to go where he wants. Try to, anyway. What do you think about it, fish? He says he ain't thinking at all. He's just living in the moment. Trying to be present, he says. Yeah, slightly bigger dink, but we ain't had nothing over 2 or 3 pounds all day. All morning long it's been. Oh, boy, I could have. It don't feel bad because it's so dang hot, but I could have done without the shower, fish. I know you all had to get wet that time. You had to, because I mean, I got to barely. Y'all barely got any water on the lens. I'm soaked. I'm dripping right here. Water running down my nose, everything else. He got me good. That was uncalled for, sir. But it don't feel too terribly bad. He is mad. I don't know what you're so mad about. I'm trying to make you famous on this video, although at this stage there probably ain't many people left watching. They're like, Justin, if you ain't gonna catch a fish worthy of front camera time, we're not gonna stick around in this video. Quit biting my thumb now. His mouth is rough. Every one of these fish have got like it's almost like a sandpaper like texture on their upper and lower tooth patch. But some of them are a little bit rougher than others, and this one here in particular is rough. He's got like little, you won't be able to see it on camera probably, but his is exceptionally rough. He just tore my thumb to pieces with that mouth of his. Old devil. Oh no, look what I've done, y'all. I sat here, my sinker went around my line. How the heck we did? There it goes. Okay. Wasn't as bad as I thought. It'd sat there and done laps around it or something. I thought we was gonna have a tangled mess. Not too bad. Easy peasy. Which scrap do we want to do now? Let's put on another piece of chicken. Why not? We ain't put on no chicken in a while. Let's do it. We've gone through the best pieces of our shad, so we might as well try the chicken again. Chicken done as well today. We've caught a bunch of fish on it. Chicken's not a bad bait for small fish. And Lord knows, everybody knows somebody that's caught a monster on chicken. I just feel like if you're going to go out and consistently have a chance at big fish, the chicken ain't the bait for that. Good numbers bait, but big fish bait consistently, I feel better about having an actual fish on my hook. That's just me though. It's all about what you're confident in. A lot of people's got a ton of confidence in chicken. Whether it's plain chicken, jello chicken, garlic chicken, they put all kinds of concoctions on there. We're just using plain chicken out here at midday. I ain't going to all that jello crap and all that, not for catfish. I'll do that on the carp. I ain't doing it on the catfish. Whew, it's hot, man. I would rather it be this hot than to be the opposite and be freezing cold. I can deal with the heat way better than the cold. Like I'll get out and do like we did today and get out right before sunrise and fish till now when it gets hot and kind of beat the heat. In the winter, you can't. If it's 20 degrees out, well, you just out of luck, man. It's just going to be cold. So I'd rather be hot than cold. But I will admit, this heat the last week here has been pretty brutal. Hoping it lets up. It ain't just the heat, it's the humidity too. I mean, it's tropical. Like, it's heat index is over 100, and then you've got the high humidity with it. It makes it hard to breathe. Oh. Something's after it, just like that. Y'all reel that one in. You handle my light work over here. Listen, here's one that's he's as big as the bait. He's as big as the chicken nugget we got on there. Or was this the one we had the chicken on? I can't remember now. Hell, it was just a minute ago. I can't remember which rod we had it on. That's how fried my brain is right now. Lord, this is another one though that has ate it deep, man. We're going to definitely have to get some bigger hooks before we use chicken again. Let's see if I can get it. Oh. Well, I'd had a better chance at getting it if you'd not do that, fish. Yeah, that was the chicken because he just puked it up. Let's get that out of the way so I can see, fish. Ah, crap. Goodness, I don't think we're going to be able to get it. One, I can't see it, but it's back there kind of deep. Dang. I don't want to chance it with him. He'll have a better chance of survival versus me ripping it out, especially if it is deep. It's something about that chicken, man. They just inhale it. It just happens so much more frequently than when you're using like a piece of fish, a piece of cut bait. So I'm just going to have to get some bigger hooks that they can't choke down. It'll limit our bites, but at least they won't be able to do that because it just keeps happening. And it's been like that before. I don't use chicken very often, but every time I do, and I'm using smaller hooks, whether it's circle hooks or the Kale style hooks we're using today, it's the same story either way, man. It's just, you catch 20 fish, you're going to gut hook 2 or 3 of them, it seems like. It's just a much higher percentage. Actually, that one, we got plenty of leader left on that one, so let's grab a hook out of here. There we go. Another thing I'm going to try at some point soon, I don't know when, but in order to keep things with this light tackle fishing, I want to keep things as simple as possible with the rigging and the gear and whatnot. Another thing I was considering doing was getting away from the braid mainline. Right now I've got braid mainline and fluorocarbon leaders. And I definitely don't want to do straight braid because it don't have the abrasion resistance that mono or fluoro does, especially on that thinner diameter, like that 15-pound braid right there. Like it's very thin, so it don't take much abrasion at all, and you're gonna break it. But what I've thought about doing is getting me some, either going straight fluoro or straight mono, 14-pound, 20-pound test, something along those lines. and just not even running a leader at all, just going straight to the hook. And we can still put a sinker on there, just put a piece of split shot, hold the sinker in place, or get one of them like Carolina keeper things, and that would eliminate 2 knots, because right now you got a knot from your main line to your swivel, and then the bottom end of your swivel, your leader line, and then another knot on your hook. Well, you'd go from 3 knots down to 1, and you would eliminate the need for a swivel altogether. And then you wouldn't have to pre-tie leaders at all, because you could just tie on, you break off, or in that situation have to cut a hook. It would be easy peasy, you just tie on a new hook every time. So I'm considering that. Whenever I got to re-spool one of these reels, we'll probably try that, just see how it goes. The nice thing about braid, there's 2 good things about it for this light tackle catfishing. First off, the braid don't stretch. And when you're fishing in a kayak and you're fishing with rod tips that are kind of flimsy, the lack of stretch in the line will help you get some hook sets, keep you from missing as many fish. And Lord knows we missed some today. What the heck is going on over here? I hear people hollering. Over on the bank's hollering, I reckon. So that's the one thing. The braid don't stretch. The other nice thing about it is it lasts a long time. Like, you can run braid forever versus mono or fluoro. You got to change it more frequently. And I'm lazy. I'll be the first to admit it. I don't want to have to change line all the time. On my ultralight rod, I change my line because I'm using 2-pound test on my ultralight when I'm just going bluegill or whatever bites type of fishing. And so I'll change it every 2nd to 3rd trip. But it's a much smaller reel and it doesn't hold as much line, and so it don't take very long to do that. Right? Like you can do that very quickly. Whereas these higher capacity reels, it takes longer to unspool, it takes longer to put the new line on, and then of course too you got the expense of it. Now, my ultralight, I bought a big 10,000 yard spool of my 2-pound line. So, I mean, I can re-spool that thing for $0.25. It cost me 25 cents. Whereas the bigger line, it's going to cost a little bit more. But it may be worth a shot to we can eliminate 2 knots, 2 potential points of failure, which in the heavy gear, not a big deal. But in the lighter gear, anything we can do to help swing the odds in our favor, worthwhile. And again, it would eliminate the need for swivels altogether, and it would eliminate the need for having leaders pre-tied. You could literally just carry whatever size of hooks we need for the size of the bait we have or size of fish we're after. Which I'm liking the smaller hooks, even for the big fish. I mean, I've caught some huge fish this year on the number 1 size hooks. Those thinner wire, smaller hooks, like they catch big fish, and I'm not bending them, dulling the points. Like, that's not, I've broke a couple just with pliers trying to get them out of fish, but like they've really done well on the big fish. I think just the culture of catfishing, you know, we've always been using big hooks for years, but I think there's something to the smaller hooks. But anything we can do to simplify things, especially if you're getting new people into the sport. And I think this light tackle catfishing is going to be more appealing to people than the heavier gear stuff, because most everybody, if you're into fishing, you already have some form of rod like I'm using here. Whether it's a bass rod or some ugly stick, you know, some random rod, and you can use it for light tackle catfishing. Whereas if you're going to go the heavy route, well, you're going to have to go buy an expensive catfish rod, and then you're going to have to buy a reel to put on it, and then line and the hooks and all that. Like, it just costs so much more. But if
if it's somebody that's brand new and they wanted to go the light tackle route and they already have a fishing rod, like whatever rod they have, whatever rod and reel combo, well, if you can get it to where they only got to buy a few sinkers and a pack of hooks, they're going to be way more likely to go give it a try. And so I think that can possibly introduce more people into the sport, or at least people that might be interested that maybe be turned off by the cost, the startup cost. If you eliminate the startup cost, they're going to be more likely to give it a shot. And if they give it a shot, they're probably going to like it and they're going to enjoy it. I mean, even the fish we've caught today, man, none of them have been big. But just the number of fish we've been able to reel in on this kind of tackle, we've had some small fish that have buried these rods. It's been fun. You know, like you get an average person that's never gone catfishing before, and you put them in a situation where they can go out and catch 20 or 30 fish in a morning session and get rods bent in half. Like they're gonna get into that. They're gonna enjoy it. They're gonna be way more likely to want to do it again. And then over time, maybe they do want to get some heavier gear and try out some different techniques and stuff like that. But in the beginning, it's just about finding something simple and fun that they can do to get them introduced into the sport. And then where they choose to take it from there, well, that's on them. But they'll never make a choice to go further into it if you don't get them in the sport to begin with. And I think that's one of the things that catfishing has done in the last decade or so. It's become more and more expensive and more specialized. And I think that deters a lot of the beginning people who are new to it. When people are new, they want something that's kind of, this fish wants him a bite of that shad head's what he wants, don't he? But like that right there, man, you see that rod bent over like that, this fish ain't gonna be big. But it's still fun on this size tackle. And then if we ain't done it yet, but I mean, if we was to hook into a monster right here before we leave, we'll still have a chance at landing him. But it's going to take a while. Like, we're going to have to earn it. Come here, fish. Let's go ahead and throw you in the net, you old skinny thing. Oh, skinny mini right here. He was a quality fight for his size. But your size is lacking, sir, along with all of your friends today. Yep, we'll see you, buddy. Get the net out of the way. Let's rebait it maybe one more time here. We're almost to the top of this island now, so let's grab one more scrap out of here. Me and you, we're gonna go to the house soon. I would call this trip, though, and this kayak today a success, folks. The motor has operated fine. It's drove us all the way up through here. It's maintained the speed. I've just adjusted the distance, or the direction when we've needed to kind of keep us on the edge of this flat, but like it's done well. The kayak's done well. It's very stable. I mean, it's way more stable than what I typically would want to fish out of, but for a large kayak, it's got a comfortable seat, plenty of space to land fish here if we do land a big one. It's a pretty good setup here we got. Or this boat over here is blaring music beside us. I hope that don't pick up on camera and get me a copyright ding. That'd be some bad luck right there. But yeah, this setup today, man, this is pretty all right. We'll have a better gauge of what this setup's really going to be like once I figure out the one boat network deal, plotting a course on the graph, get my rudder, or I can deploy it, because that's big too. Like, what I want to do is face that motor forward. Like when I'm, say like today when I'm running back to the ramp to load up, I'm going to steer with the remote today. But once I get my rudder properly installed, and it's properly installed now, I just don't have the line run around the rudder properly. It was an easy install. I just don't have it properly ran. But we'll be able to face that motor forward and then just steer with our feet. Lord, here comes a couple more jet skis. It's definitely time for us to go, y'all. We've reached the point in the day. We've got people over here blaring music in the pontoon. Jet skis going by. The sun feels like it's melting my flesh off. Yeah. We're gonna give it just a few more minutes here. Work our way past this island, and if there's a big fish in this area, he better come on. He's gonna miss his chance today. But yeah, once we get everything figured out, and just me figure out how to operate all this stuff and get the rudder fixed, we'll really be able to give this kayak a full evaluation. But so far today, I mean, it done well today. It done well when I was netting shad. Definitely stable enough for me to stand up and throw that net. So seems to be in Old Town, they've always built good quality kayaks. Like when you see people online talking about how they've had a problem or a crack in a hull or something like that, you never hear Old Town's name brought up, ever. Like Old Town, and I've drilled into several different brands of kayaks now, mounting rod holders and stuff that I've had through the years. Old Town, the Old Town Autopilot I had, and the Old Town Big Water, very thick plastic, very thick. And I can tell you from accessing that through-hole wiring port up here for the transducer, the plastic right there was very thick too. So I mean, Old Town just makes good quality kayaks. Like they've been in business over 100 years. They have figured out how to properly make a plastic kayak so that it's going to be durable and not going to have the cracking issues that some brands have unfortunately had. And they got a good warranty program too, so if you do have a problem, you can call up their customer service, which is located in America. They're located in Maine. You can speak to somebody on the phone, like have an actual person pick up, not AI, but an actual human being, and they speak English. Not broken English, not like a Indian accent over in Pakistan or something at some call center. Like you get an actual real human being that speaks English. So I hope this kayak is a success for Old Town. I think there will be a market for it. I think there's going to be a lot of people that was maybe interested in the pedal version of this, but didn't really want the pedals because they were going to motorize it, right? Well, this gives them a cheaper option that they can do the same thing and not have the pedals, not have the expense or lose the space that the pedals take up. So I think it'll be a successful product for them. The kayak that this one's replacing, the Sportsman 120, and this is a definite upgrade over the one. And it was a nice kayak, don't get me wrong. It was a popular kayak. A lot of people had them. But this one here has a lot more features between all the stuff I've mentioned with the motor, front and back you can put on. The storage hatch is bigger. The floor space is more. The seat sets up higher. The rear tank well area is bigger. Of course, you've got, if you do want to have a motor or rudder in the back, you've got your holes already done for you to run your steering cables through, if I get my words out. Like they've made some serious improvements to this kayak over the regular 120 version that they've had for the last several years. So I think it's going to be a big hit for them. I think there's a lot of people that's going to be very, very interested in this kayak. I'd be interested in catching one big fish today. I just don't think it's going to happen, folks. I'll tell you this, buddy. It's 10:01 a.m. right now. And it feels like that sun is just melting the side of my face off. I mean, it is so hot and so humid. Like, it's just to breathe. The air is just thick, man. I ain't even been able to, I do my exercises every day, keep myself in shape. And one of the things I do, I get out there in my pull-up bar. And I do pull-ups, but part of my stuff I do, I just hang. Just work on my grip strength. And I'll just hang. And I can't right now, I guess I need to get me some like chalk or something. Because the last few days, my hands are so sweaty and my pull-up bar is just so damp from the humidity. Like, my hands immediately start slipping. I ain't been able to hold on but like for a minute before I'm just down to my fingertips. So I'll be glad when this humidity breaks. When the heat cuts back a little bit. I mean, I'd much rather it be this blazing hot than freezing cold in the winter, but still. This is a little bit excessive heat that we've been dealing with. Get that insulation in my attic put down, because I virtually have no insulation at this point with as degraded as it has been, being up there for 30 years. Like, get that fixed and be able to be comfortable at the house again. I was telling my mom last night, I said, if my wife was to divorce me today, it wouldn't be because I've messed up as a husband. It would be because the house is too damn hot. She'd find her a husband with a better insulated house. Hopefully she'll wait another day to divorce me, though, because we're going to go see He-Man tomorrow night, again for the third time. Me for the third time, her for the second time. It's such a good movie. I just don't get the critics of it. Like, there are a bunch of critics. Not everybody feels as strongly about it as I do, but I thought it was a great movie. I mean, definitely the best action hero movie ever, I think. And I've seen all the Avengers. I'm a Batman guy. I love me some Batman. Christian Bale, best Batman ever. Superman. Spider-Man. Like, I've seen all these superhero movies. This was the best superhero movie I've ever seen, and I think it might be my favorite movie of all time. It was so good. So I want to go see it at least one more time before it goes out of theaters. You see these stuff online and they say that it bombed at the box office, didn't make as much money as they thought it was going to, etc., etc. But I'm like, well, there's more to it than that. Like, they're selling a bunch of... Oh, there was another paddlefish right up there in front of us. Right in front of us, man. 100 yards up, he come flying out of the water. But I mean, but Masters Universe, they're selling t-shirts, they're selling toys, they're selling popcorn buckets with Castle Grayskull on there. Like, they're making a lot of money outside of just the movie ticket sales. So they got to factor that in too. I think it's going to be okay for them. And they already teased the sequel at the end of this movie. So I think we're going to get at least one more, surely. All right, folks, I'll tell you what here. We are down to our scraps on bait. We're past the island over here now where I'd kind of wanted to work our way up to today. And it's hot. It's miserable hot. So I think we're going to call it a day. Call this first, well, the first catfishing trip where we got to finish the trip in this thing. Unlike yesterday where we break off and realize I ain't got no more leaders with me. But I think the first full catfishing trip in this thing was a success. It went well, no issues, motor works fine, the graph works fine. Once we get everything linked, we'll be able to do that a little more. The phone app works appropriately. We were able to operate the motor, get the speed, cruise control, everything set up with the phone app. So, so far so good with this setup, man. I'm thankful for Old Town giving me this opportunity. And I think this kayak's going to be a big hit for them. So we'll put it through the paces over the coming weeks and just see if it's going to be a good fit for what I do as far as the tournaments and stuff goes. But so far so good. So anyway, y'all, let's go home. Let's go to the air condition, get a slice of watermelon or something, and just chill out the rest of the day. I'll see you later. I'll see you in the next one.